O Show. This is the Big 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 O Show. This is the
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
This is the Big O Show.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchased with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
I tell you, this is going to be a challenge today to stay positive, to try to keep you all off the ledge and going crazy. But we will try. We will try to talk about, and I mean, there really isn't anything to reason with yesterday. Yesterday was a shit show. Yesterday was a disaster of epic proportions. The problem, the problem for a lot of us is, what direction do you go in now? That's really what it's all about. And obviously, those of you that already are, you are already kind of negative as it is, because, you know, you were already negative about the Patriots win. So this one, you're going to take it to an extreme, like life is over. And, you know, I just don't look at it that way right now. And I need to see, I've watched Manny Diaz be a complete fuck up. for over 2 seasons now, going into 3 seasons. There's a difference there. See, I know what Manny Diaz is already, right? I know what the University of Miami administration is already. So there, I have no hope, right? And at this point, if you're a Canes fan and you think you're going to get back to being a top 10 team and winning the ACC and going after a national title and being in the same neighborhood with Alabama and Ohio State and all those Clemson and all that stuff, you're effing delusional. Okay? I had a guy this morning tell me, "Hey, what do you think if they start the other quarterback now because of King?" And you know how you want to know, if you want to know what's worse than a Dolphins fan who's completely crapping on the season right now, is the Canes fan that says, "Well, I've seen enough of De'Aaron King." That poor young man is selling out his soul every moment he's on the field. And his problem is that he gave up his eligibility and his opportunity to the wrong coaching staff and to the wrong university. That's his bigger problem. And to me, that's the worst part. Scam likely. Yeah, baby. So that's the worst part about all of that is you fans are so cold and callous that De'Aaron, I mean, he's the only reason to watch University of Miami football. The only reason. There is no other reason to watch Hurricane football. It's certainly not to see Manny Diaz with his thumb in his ear trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And as I said before, Manny Diaz is not the problem. Blake James is not the problem. The problem is the University of Miami administration. But this is what we have now. We have fans that just don't really give a crap about anything, and they just want to complain and bitch to bitch, and they want to find any opportunity to complain. And for me, the Dolphins, it's a 1 week of complaining, and then we move on. At least I'm going to move on and turn the page and give them an opportunity. If I have watched Brian Flores screw up for 2 seasons and this third one, then that's a whole different ballgame. But I'm not gonna kill the man, which he was terrible along with his team yesterday. There is no defense. I don't think there's a Doll fan in the world that is going to defend anything that went on yesterday. And I'm not going to defend anything that went on yesterday. In fact, as the show goes on, I will plug holes in a lot of the things that went on yesterday. But really, if you want to look at your football situations, because it was such a terrible weekend, the only team that gets a complete pass for me is Inter Miami, because they played like their third game in like 8 days. It was, those NBA scheduled games. And I know some of you don't like soccer, but in the NBA, you know how you play your fourth game in 5 nights or 6 nights, or your third game in 4 nights, and that third game is a disaster. Your legs are dead, whatever. Usually gamblers love those games because they love laying the points because they know that team is going to be flat. That's what I expected from Inter Miami. So they get the pass from the weekend. The Canes, there's nothing to look at here. They're done. They're history. And as I said a little bit on the pregame show, I am old enough to have been rooting for the Canes before they were the Canes, before they had any swag, before anybody knew who the hell they were, actually. And that's where they're at right now. And that's where they're going to stay. The administration is more than happy getting the ACC's fat-ass check to pay for their athletic program. It's over. Julio Frank has no intentions on competing. He doesn't care about a national title. He doesn't care about the ACC championship. Hell, he doesn't care about the Coastal. Just win 8 or 9 games, keep them in there, go to a crappy little bowl game. We're back to the late 70s and early 80s when I remember we got the call for the Peach Bowl, and we were like, wow. We were freaking out. Like, wow, Jim Kelly and the boys took to the Peach Bowl. That's pretty freaking cool. And that's what it's going to be from now on. It's going to be a mid-major that every once in a while they might surprise somebody, win a game here or there, win 8, 9 games, get a bowl bid, go to a mediocre bowl. Maybe they show up at the Gator Bowl one year. Wow, something like that. And it won't be much for us. But 10, 20 years from now, when they're used to what's been going on, then they'll get used to that's the level that they are. This is who they are. The cycle will come back to people accepting and all that. So I'm always going to root for the University of Miami. I'm always going to watch the University of Miami. I have too much love for the University of Miami and their athletic program, and I want them to do well. But I know what I'm watching now. I'm no longer ever thinking that they're going to be actually something. Years ago, for those of you that are really young and you don't really know what the hell we're talking about, but we had a president named Tad Foote. He hated football. But the saving grace with the Sam Yankovic, the AD, loved football and did everything he possibly could, but it was a different era then. You didn't need the kind of money you need now to compete, and that's the problem. And so this administration is not going to pay what you need, about maybe 12 to 15 million dollars for a really good head coach, offensive and defensive coordinators. Am I off here? Right? You're going to need about $7-10 million for a real head coach, a stud head coach, and then you're going to have to pay your coordinators about $2 million each. So you're going to need somewhere in the neighborhood of $12 to $15 million. Do you think they got it? And please, Canes fans, don't get pathetic. Don't be ridiculous. Your boosters aren't going to help you out. This isn't Alabama, and this isn't Ohio State. They don't buy out bad contracts, and then they go and spend even more on the next guy. That's not going to ever happen here. This isn't Texas. They don't have those kind of people here. They may have a couple of boosters that think that they can, they're big shot or whatever, but they don't have that kind of university here. And they don't have that kind of dedication. And they don't care about it. It's over. Understand that. It's over. The University of Miami will never, ever, ever be elite again. Those days are over. The faster you come to that realization and you don't sit in those stands thinking that someday you're going to get back to being a national championship contender, it's over. And all they have to do is go through this cycle another 10, 15 years. They'll weed out all the old people that were used to winning. Even the 2001 people, they'll be even old enough that they can just cast aside, and then the younger generations will get used to the mediocrity, the less than average or average on your best year. That's what's coming for the University of Miami football program. I'm sorry. That's what they've been. I'm sorry, not coming. That's what they've been. And this is never going to change. If you fire Manny Diaz, you will get another Al Golden, another Randy Shannon, or another Manny Diaz. You're never going to get an elite coach. It's just not going to happen. And if you ever get a good coach that's young, he'll take the team to 10 wins and he'll move on to somewhere else right away, because he's not going to get the kind of money he needs for a great offensive and defensive coordinator. He has done so much by himself that he knows he's going to need more resources, and they will not provide him there. So that's where I am when I look at both. And I look at the Dolphins. I'm not going to all of a sudden the season is over. The team is done. Fire everybody. They've done a hell of a job already in turning this thing around. I'm not going to panic about one game. It was terrible. And where I got to lay a lot of the blame for Chris Grier and for Brian Flores is probably the plan on the offensive line is the center of it all. And I talked about it yesterday, which I'm sure nobody's been talking about it because we're usually ahead of the curve on most people in this town when it comes to the Dolphins. They screwed up, dude. They put too many young guys. I am all in for their plan on developing the line, but they needed a base. And they needed to spend some money on some free agents, do something. You had to do a better job of creating some balance on the line. And I'm a Jesse Davis fan as a sixth man. That's what he should be. The sixth man on the team. I mean, that's what when you have Jesse Davis starting, then that tells me your line isn't good enough. And I get it. Eichenberg is young as hell, and he's going to make a ton of mistakes, but I'd rather Eichenberg make the mistakes and learn because he has a future. Jesse Davis is not your future. God bless him. He's willing to play every position that you need. That's why I like him. But he's a fill-in guy. He's a stopgap. He's not an everyday starter. I'm sorry. He's going to do a solid job for you on his best days, but he's not going to ever be a dominant guy. He's never going to be a difference maker on the line. He's a great sixth man. Love him as a sixth man. So if you're going to go about this, and this was the plan because it's not just Grier drafting them, it's Flo approving that this is the plan because they both, have to agree on this. So their plan to use all these young guys has backfired badly on them because it's really hard for them to lean on any kind of experience because there is none. And that's a problem. And that's been a problem for this team. And then the bigger problem for Grier and for Flo is that this offensive line issue has been going on for years. And it's not their fault, the stuff that went on 5, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. This is a problem that they've inherited. And so Dolph fans have been beaten down so badly with losses, with poor management, with all those things, that any little trip up just triggers the ultimate overreaction. And that's what you're getting now. Because people, they have short-term memories. Last year they were 0-2 and they bounced back. So they're 1-1 now. Yesterday was a loss. That's all. I know it was 35-0, but it was a loss. Somehow or another, you figure out a way to win next week against the Raiders, everything's forgotten. You're 2-1. You know what I mean? So that's why I can't really overreact on what's been going on with the Dolphins. It was terrible. It was ugly. There's stuff that I just don't agree with that went on yesterday. Playing Jakeem Grant. Nobody's a bigger Jakeem Grant fan than I am. But what have I told you? I've been pretty freaking consistent on this. I go, this is great this year. You've got all these receivers. You don't have to use Jakeem Grant. This is the reason that Jakeem Grant's been a thorn in your side because there's been injuries, and then you're forced to use Jakeem Grant. Yesterday, they weren't forced to use Jakeem Grant. They made a terrible decision to use Jakeem Grant. Jakeem Grant should be your punt returner, your kick returner, and that's it. That's all. Nothing more. And the fact that you used Albert Wilson, who I said should not be on this team, over and over again, So how the hell do I know more than they do? You tell me. How in the F do I know more than they do? Who the f is Albert Wilson? And a ton of you out there were in love with Albert Wilson. How you feeling now? I kept telling you, right? What was he accomplished? What, he ran around 10 days in shorts? And you fell in love with him? So today, yeah, I got to pick on Flo. Today, I got to pick on Godsey and Studsville because they did some stupid-ass things yesterday. Doesn't mean I want Flo fired. Doesn't mean I want Godsey and Studsville out. Doesn't mean I want Chris Greer fired. None of that. But we got to call it like we see it on this show. Mac Hollins is a much better football player than Jakeem Grant and Albert Wilson combined. I don't need to see any more from those guys as wide receivers. Albert Wilson has no business being on this roster. I've done this for 31 years. Do you know how many people I've seen run around in shorts and never do anything on the real football field? A ton. So this is where I call out the coaching staff. And I say, what the hell are you guys thinking? Now, whether Jakeem Grant catches that ball or not, or if it's Mac Hollins, they still get their ass kicked. That's the reality. Let's also be honest here. But if there's a game that you want to stay in, let's say next week against the Raiders, let's not make the same stupid mistake. Let's stop with the Albert Wilson bullshit. I get it. The coaches got fooled. Plenty of you got fooled with Albert Wilson. And nobody is a bigger Jakeem Grant fan than I am. But I know who he is. They don't. They still don't. Because you can rewind. You can go back to all the podcasts. Most of you are pretty much my witnesses. You know it. I never said Jakeem Grant, great receiver, great returner, use them both ways. Never said that. Never said that. So how do I get it right and they don't get it right? That's the part I want to know. How do I know to keep Jakeem Grant as a returner? How do I know that Albert Wilson shouldn't be on the damn team? And how do I know that Mac Hollins should be playing over both those guys? Bigger target, better hands, more consistent, tougher football player. I don't understand. Albert Wilson doesn't help you out on special teams. So why are you trying to justify his position? And you don't need him on the field. To rely on the unreliable is insane. Listen to me. To rely on the unreliable is insane. Jakeem Grant as a wide receiver is not reliable. Albert Wilson as a wide receiver should be in the CFL. Kansas City finds people left and right. They got rid of them. This is one of those Gase Tannenbaum pickups from a few years ago. And he's done nothing since he's been here. He's been injured all the time, and he hasn't really done anything special. And yet somehow he wins a roster spot, which is weird. So the team has got to figure some stuff out. Okay? You went down this path now. Now you got to die down this path. Bench Jesse Davis. Put Eichenberg in there. Screw it, dude. Let the guys learn. Let's find out who can play and who can't play. And as we've been consistent on this show, I've been preparing you for failure for a while. I've been telling you, You're not going to hit on all 5 of these linemen. So play them all now. Let's find out who can keep their heads above water and who can't for the next 15 games. I know it's going to be brutal for the quarterbacks, but this is what you created, unfortunately. This part of the plan is the part that really has some holes in it unless these young guys can all of a sudden figure it out in the next couple of weeks. They should have had more leadership inside that offensive line, and they just don't have enough, proven leadership. That's what they need. And since you can't get that now, you could go get a guy off the street. But come on, ladies and gentlemen, there's a reason why they're off the street, and there's a reason why they're sitting on their couches right now, just like you and I working the remote. That's what they're doing. They're the same as us. Just, obviously they played the game a little bit, but they're not going to be the answer. You're going to get a guy that's old. You're going to get a guy that's broken down. You're going to get a guy that's slower. And you're just hoping to get by with that. So now that you dug this hole in for yourself, and then here's the other thing that I was thinking about that really frustrates me about the offensive line. The Indianapolis Colts. Why do I say the Indianapolis Colts? Well, because Andrew Luck. So you have the luck of getting Andrew right after Peyton Manning finishes an illustrious career, a beautiful career for your team, won you a Super Bowl, but sadly suffers a neck injury, and you don't know what his future holds. So you luck into that season, right? That Curtis Painter and company leads you to, what was it? No wins, 1 win, whatever the hell it was. You got the number 1 pick and you get Andrew Luck. You go on to build no line for him, and he's built like a tree trunk. He's a linebacker playing quarterback. He is a big, strong, tough guy. And he takes a beating to a point that he says, screw it. I'm out of here. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I can't go through injury, rehab, pain. I think that's how he said, or pain, injury, rehab, or whatever order he had it in. I'm paraphrasing. And one of the greatest young talents walks right out the door. So you draft a fragile quarterback, which is the only thing that I was ever concerned about with Tua, as I've repeated over and over and over again. I am convinced Tua can play at this level. I know he can play at this level, but he'll never get to play at this level if you have that line. That's the one thing that's, I was lying in bed last night and I'm going, this is the Colts all over again. Except the difference is you didn't draft a tree trunk. You drafted a guy that is super fragile. You drafted a guy with an incredible injury history, which is the only reason that scared me from Tua, is the injury history. I'm not big on not being durable. If any of you have followed my show, I completely lose it on players that are, like my confidence. Like I don't want to deal with players that once they become injury prone, they're unreliable. What did I just say about Albert Wilson, right? And look at Devontae Parker. I love Devontae Parker, but we all know he's unreliable, unfortunately, because his body wasn't made for this. So that's where the plan is flawed, unfortunately, for Greer and Flo here. It's like, well, you're going to draft a fragile quarterback, but you're going to put him behind a rookie line? That doesn't jive, man. And that part there, I have to lay it on there. And it's not just a Greer thing. This goes with Flo, because they're both there. One has to approve it. If Flo didn't want it, no. You know what? Let's get a couple of veterans in here to protect Tua. I want the kid to succeed. We went through this with other quarterbacks, right? Ryan was getting killed, but Ryan at least was a big, tough kid, and he can handle it. Can't pass, but he can at least do it. He was beautiful yesterday by way of handing off to Derrick Henry. That was monstrous. Anyway, so that's when you look at we may still get 2 or 3 of these guys that are going to be really good offensive linemen. Maybe one's a Pro Bowler, maybe one's solid, maybe one's decent, and then we're going to get 2 or 3 of these that are going to bomb out. That's fine. It still could happen. But in the process, will the quarterback survive? Yesterday, nobody was going to have success behind that line. I don't care only Lamar, maybe because he can run his way out of it. Because he runs like a deer, dude. No, I think he's faster than a deer. He runs like a cheetah. Okay? What is it? Cheetah, Impala? What is it? What are the whatever? That's what he is. That's the only way you survive behind that line, that you can run out of it because you're lightning quick. That's not Tua. Everybody would have gotten killed back there. Aaron Rodgers would have gotten killed. Justin Herbert would have gotten killed. Nice interception at the end. Still hasn't won a quality game, but that's all right. It doesn't matter who you are back there. You would have gotten killed. And that's where this plan in the rebuild has some flaws. And Chris and Flo have to take a step back, and they have to look, we effed up here. Now they have no choice. Now they got to coach their asses off out of this. Greer may have to go find a veteran to try to plug in and try to do whatever and try to bring some balance or something. Don't blame the offensive line coach on this. No offensive line coach is going to turn 5 young guys into a great line, or 4 young guys and a journeyman fill-in guy in Jesse Davis, because that's what Jesse is. No offensive line coach is going to make gold out of this right now. Not even Dante Scarnecchia, former Hall of Fame offensive line coach for the New England Patriots. And by the way, he should be in the Hall of Fame. Like a first ballot Hall of Famer. That's how good that guy is. Some assistant coaches don't get enough credit over the years in the NFL on how effing good they are. That was one guy right there. Like Mike Westhoff, like first ballot Hall of Fame special teams coach. First ballot. Like, that's not even a question. So that's where these guys are going to have to take a step back, because this plan is not working. You just saw your quarterback now go down, and I don't know how long he's going to be out. Will he be back for this week? Can he get back in 2 weeks or 3 weeks? If it's not a broken rib, you got a shot at getting him back. It all depends on how much pain he can tolerate. What kind of toughness can he play? The kind of toughness he's going to have to show in order to play with some pain, discomfort, like other guys have. Now, if it's broken, there's nothing you can do. We can't want the kid to get a punctured lung or a punctured anything inside his body. I don't wish that on anybody. You know what I'm saying? And it also depends, in between the ribs, there's that cartilage. And sometimes they damage that cartilage to the point that it hurts to even breathe. So I don't know what their injury is. I did not sleep at a Holiday Inn last night, so I'm not exactly sure. But that is one part of this equation that they're going to have to look at. And they're going to have to say, how do we get around this? Because you cannot develop a quarterback if you cannot block. And this quarterback, you will not, his career's over. You want me to be honest? His career's over. If he continues to play behind this line, how do you think it ends? I'm a Tua fan, but I'm also Tua realistic. He's not Cam Newton, dude. He's not Ben Roethlisberger. He's not one of these big-ass, strong quarterbacks that can take a little bit of a beating while these guys figure it out. And that's a problem. And not that you want that anyway. You don't want any quarterback like, well, no, he can hang in there and take a beating. You don't want that, because the guy's going to get concussed and all kinds of stuff. You don't need that, but that's my point. And when you look at it, that's what I thought of. I thought of Andrew Luck without the tree trunk that is Andrew Luck. And that's where I felt bad for Tua yesterday. The guy had 9 plays, dude. In 9 plays, he got killed. Yes, I get it. The Bills are way ahead. But we already knew that they were the better team in the division. Most of us knew that they could be, the champions of this division, and they could challenge Kansas City. Look, I get it. I picked them this week to win, to shock the world, to surprise. You know what I deserve?
Blind ass fan alert. Look out, everyone. We've got a blind ass fan coming through.
It can happen to any of us, right? The blind ass fan alert. And so I thought, hey, they're home, the heat, they can get to it. But unfortunately, when you've got that, and the defense started up like crap, although the defense after those 2 touchdowns, they shut it down. They were pretty damn good, and they gave it should have been a tie game at half, which I think we all would have felt a little better and would have said, oh, well, wait a minute, man, you lose your quarterback. Somehow or another, you figure a way to get tied. Devontae Parker. I mean, how do you drop that, dude? How do you drop that football, Devontae Parker? Right? There, you had your moments. You easily could have tied that game. You could have even taken a lead in that game at halftime. And yet, when you had the plays, you couldn't make them. And then that's obviously deflating for the defense because it's only human nature. And in the second half, forget it. It's all over. It was rough, man. It was rough. Now, I've watched this coach bounce back. I'm not giving up on the Dolphins. I'm not giving up on the Dolphin season. I'm not giving up on Greer. I'm not giving up on Flo. I'm not giving up on the offensive coordinators. I'm not giving up on Tua. I'm not doing I'm not overreacting on all of that. I will point out some things that I disagree with. That I'm going to do. But they've done too many good things since they started to all of a sudden give up on what's going on and to panic and make it out more than what it is. Because in a couple of years, if 2 or 3 of those linemen stick, you're going to go, wow, man, I remember when those guys stunk and they actually turned into good linemen. You never know. But I'm not ready at this point to just, all right, let's wave the white flag. It's over. Not ready to do any of that. Let's see if we get Omar Kelly here to call us, because I know we are waiting for Omar Kelly. Don't forget, folks, many ways to get in. The text line is 855-912-1056. If you can't get in on the YouTube chat board, if you're listening to the podcast at any time, you want to tell me I'm an idiot, you hate me, whatever it is, you can do that on the text line. It's all there for you. You can reach out to us, obviously, on the YouTube chat board, Twitter, Big O Show, and, of course, Cash App and Venmo. That's Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. Mike Abrams says, depressing start to the week. It is. I mean, but what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Omar told us he literally did. He said that the O-line is going to get our QB killed. And, yeah. You rarely ever see Tua call out protection. He got himself hurt. Oh, yeah, no, of course. Yeah, he got himself hurt. Yeah, that's what it is. Jesse Davis getting absolutely beat had everything to do with Tua calling protection. Did you watch Jesse Davis get beat? Jesse Davis killed his quarterback, dude. Jesse Davis should not even be worried about his injury all night long. He probably did not sleep because he killed his quarterback. But, you go ahead. You probably are, you're probably a Tua hater. So, yeah, I get it. You will only go as far as your lines will take you. Penei Sewell is on the board. Greer says, nah, let's take the small, fast, wide receiver because Miami didn't already have. You're gonna compare Jalen Waddle to Grant and Wilson, AJ. Did you just compare Jalen Waddle to Jakeem Grant and Albert Wilson? Really, dude? Wow. Anyway, thank you. Say it as it is. No one over the top reaction. Let's move on. Can't change the past, only influence the future. Go Tua, Martin Leiden. Hey, Martin, I'm giving the coach the benefit of the doubt. Something that I don't give Manny Diaz because he hasn't earned it. That's all. I watched them go 10-4 last year after 0-2, right? They lost to the Bills. They lost to New England. The world is coming to an end. I took the phone calls. I took the text, the whatever, the tweets. It was the same kind of reaction at 0-2. Oh, my God, they suck, this, that. And then they went 10-4. All these same people that were complaining were the same people that came out after 0-2 last year. Same thing. And then they went 10-4 and ended up 10-6. So I have to. This man went 0-7 with no talent, and then went 5-4. You think he's not going to lose this locker room after this loss because he's never lost the locker room in the past, and he's found a way. And they know it's not like they didn't put him in positions to be successful, right? It's not like Albert Wilson could have caught those balls. Jakeem Grant could have caught his, right? Jalen Waddle doesn't have to drop the punt return twice. Devontae Parker had a touchdown. What's it called? Jesse Davis had the defender in front of him. He could have blocked him. Everybody was in position to make a play. They failed to make the play. What am I going to do? I can't lay it on the coach. The coach has been more consistent than the players. So he will find a way to get them to be a little bit more consistent. That's it. Hey, man, the Bills are the class of the AFC, along with Kansas City. Those are the facts. That's just the reality of it all. And last week, they faced a team that Miami cannot equal their pass rush. So that really helped them out in winning that game. Miami just doesn't have enough of a pass rush. Jalen Phillips played 18 snaps, right? 18 snaps. Brendan Scarlett played 20. Played 2 more snaps than the kid. So your young guy isn't ready yet and he's learning a new position. He's playing more outside linebacker, so it's a little bit of a change for him compared to standing but it's a 3-4. There's no way you put Jalen Phillips at end in a 3-4 situation. He's really a 4-3 end if you're going to use him, but he has the skill set to play linebacker. This is all part of the process with him. But the offensive line is the one I'm really concerned about because there's no way Jacoby Brissett will stay healthy behind that line also. Jacoby Brissett took a beating too in that game. Luckily, he's a bigger guy, so he can take a few more shots. But for how long? That's the problem. And that's where those guys have to be right now thinking, how do we create more time for our quarterback and they may have to go to max protection now. So Durham Smythe and Hunter Long may be playing a lot more. Or you go find a blocking tight end that's out on the street and you bring him in and so be it. And your quarterback will have to play with max protection all the time. And you better be more effective in the running game then at that point. That might be the solution for them, unfortunately. I mean, it's rough, man. It is rough, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, by the way, I hope you took advantage of the dip that was recently going on from last night till now. Got a little extra Cody. Got a little extra. What bargains did I get? Cody, BitTorrent, and VeChain. VeChain got under 10 cents. Got into the 9 cent area. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 are my buying areas for VeChain. So I don't know if you guys took advantage of it. Not that I'm a financial advisor, but I got Cody. It went down to 31 cents. So I got in there on Cody. Where's Cody now? Got it on 31. Went to 37. Dropped back down to 34. See if it drops again to about 30, 31, I might jump in again and get a little more when it's all said and done. Where is Bitcoin right now? Bitcoin is at 44,251. It's going up, and now it's starting to climb back up again. Ethereum's at 3,082. It hit a low of 2,922, which is kind of a bargain at this point. It's funny. That's the bargain now for Ethereum. So now it started to climb back up again. So if you took advantage, you were smart, and now you will enjoy the gains going on in the market. So there you go, boys and girls. Ride it. Little Ethereum. Ride it. I see they found the body of Gabby Petito also. Not to get too depressing on you, the young lady. And now the boyfriend is at large. That is a strange story, dude. That is a strange story. Well, our prayers to the Petito family. I don't know what the hell went on in that story, but it is a fishy story. I can tell you that, man. Wow. And we got a volcano erupting in the Canary Islands. World is crazy, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, Keith Sims will be joining us tomorrow. You want to talk offensive line? We're going to have Keith Sims on tomorrow at 11:30. Obviously, Ira will join us at 10:30 tomorrow. So Keith Sims tomorrow at 11:30, Manny Navarro at 12:30. So be on the lookout for that one. I'm looking forward to talking to Keith Sims. I want to run my theory by him, because remember, he came in with Richmond Webb as two rookies on the left side, but everybody else to his right wasn't rookies. So I want to run it by him about having too many young guys on the line and the detriment that is. And I'm going to ask him about examples and things like that he can probably remember a center telling him, giving him a tip, or the other guard giving him a tip and helping him out, and those kind of things in his rookie year. And so I think that's something I want to get from Keith, that perspective. Keith is up in Atlanta. He's up in Georgia. He's the RV man up in Georgia. That's what I need. You know that I need to get an RV, get the dogs, the wife, and just travel around the country and do the show every day from a different location. You know, that's kind of what I need to do. You know what I'm saying? That would be good. Today we're in the Grand Canyon doing our show. You know, it'd be kind of fun. That kind of stuff. Grand Canyon in the background. Be pretty awesome. That kind of stuff. Niagara Falls. Slowly I turn. Forget it. I'm absolutely dating myself on that one. George Albany says, Big O, I had a bruised cartilage in the ribs. Tough to even breathe. Took 6 weeks to heal because you need to breathe so the cartilage is constantly expanding and contracting. Cortisone shots should help. I know. I've been at this game for a long time, and I've covered players that have had all those injuries. So I'm you know, it's in recorded in my mind, all these kind of things that I've experienced. So when it comes up again, I kind of can anticipate some of those rib-like injuries, because it's not always a broken rib or a fractured rib. Sometimes it's the cartilage in between the ribs that can be like worse than the rib, actually. It's terrible. It's terrible. Players have told me about it. Let's see. Going with a young O-line coach to guide a very young O-line was a mistake at that position. You'll need a drill sergeant. That's not going to help, dude. This drill sergeant, Miami RW, dude, that's ridiculous. That has nothing to do with, oh, we were. How do you know he's not a screamer? How do you know? Maybe he is a drill sergeant. Have you been there? Are you behind the scenes coaching? I mean, that has nothing to do with it. Nobody does this. I've spoken about this on the show in months past. They're doing something that nobody does. And maybe they thought a little too much outside the box on that one. Some people, 1, 2 linemen, 3 maybe. I think Kansas City last night. The new kid snapped the ball over his head and everything. The LSU kid. They have 3 guys. The third guy, he was out last year because of COVID, but he's back. So technically, this is his first year. And Kansas City hasn't been playing great football either, by the way. They just kind of live off those huge plays and things like that. But they, for a while now, they haven't necessarily been playing solid football every week and all that. They're kind of playing by the seat of their pants since the Super Bowl, basically. And they can get away with it. And they got away with a lot last year, and then it caught up to them, and they didn't win it. And so this year, they've had their issues, bro. They've had their issues, but it ain't about drill sergeant. That isn't 4 to 5 young linemen. That's almost an impossible job for any O-line coach. You know what? I'm going to reach out to somebody, see if he's willing to come on, because he's retired now. So maybe I can get him to come on, because normally I could not get him to come on when he was working. Alex Diaz says, you were right about Sports Grill. Went there yesterday, needed to get a beer after the game. Also, great talking football. We need to give this team some time. I think we'll be fine. Alex, thank you for coming by yesterday, man. That was very cool of you and your friend to come by. All of you out there, Alexa V that came by, Ohio John. And by the way, if Ohio John is on the chat board, because there's a shitload of people here, congratulate Ohio John. He proposed to his wife this weekend. He and his fiance came down from Ohio for the game, and then came over to Sports Grill after. And by the way, apologies to all of you that traveled to the game yesterday. I feel for you. I admire you for your passion. And Ohio John, thank you for coming by, and thanks to all the people that came by yesterday to Sports Grill in Miami Lakes. And we'll be there next week for the Raiders game. Let's hope we can get it done. All right, let's get the rest of the story with Omar Kelly and the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report.
The Big O Radio Show is home for the hardcore Dolphins fan. That's why we give you Omar Kelly twice a week. Buckle up. It's time for the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show.
All righty, there he is. Is there any truth, Omar, that you were trying to sell to a life insurance the last couple of weeks, because you started working for Prudential and you said this would be a really good in for me right now? I've been predicting that the line would get him killed. Let me sign him to this because I can get a good commission. I heard that you were trying to push some life insurance on Tua. Any truth to that?
No. The 2 mistakes that we made as an organization, if we're going to think about it, is not doing enough to reinforce and supplement the offensive line in the offseason. And while we thought we did enough, it wasn't. And
can I stop you there? Is it more about it was the wrong philosophy? Dude, nobody breaks in 4 or 5 linemen at one time. Nobody does that. Nobody. I mean, 3 is a mission. Kansas City was doing it last night. They put in the center, and the kid snapped the ball over Mahomes. And then the kid on the far right, the right tackle, he was out last year for COVID in his rookie year, so he's back this year. So they have 3. And if you look at Kansas City, they kind of been flying on the seat of their pants since the Super Bowl. They haven't really been playing great football, actually.
Been too good, 2 games.
No. Since last year, they've been living on their they've been living on their incredible talent. They haven't been playing the kind of football that really dissects and tears teams apart. They've been challenged a lot more, you know what I mean, overall. But my point is the philosophy of using so many linemen. You know what I thought about last night, Omar?
What's that?
I thought of Andrew Luck. I go, well, they got lucky that they got Andrew, but then they didn't put anybody in front of him, and they beat him to a pulp that he said, dude, I'm done, bro. I'm smart. I can go do other things. Plus, I got a boatload of money in the bank. And the Dolphins did the same thing. Okay, you got your quarterback, but wait a minute. You got a fragile quarterback, and you're not going to put monsters in front of him to protect him? That's poor planning. That's where I have to legitimately take the shot at both Greer and Flores on this one, that they did not think this out thoroughly enough, and they did not do enough to protect Tua, considering you weren't drafting Cam Newton or Ben Roethlisberger or even Ryan Tannehill, who could take a beating. You know what I mean? He was kind of like a Timex watch. You drafted a guy that's incredibly fragile, and you should have protected him. That's the bad part.
Yeah, that's the other issue. There is a durability, fragility aspect to Tua that we have to factor in and enter into the equation. But let's be real about this. This organization has been trying to build a respectable offensive line for nearly 2 decades. They've only had success 2 years, 2008 and 2016, which just so happens to be the years that they've made the playoffs. The amount of resources used to do this and money spent to do this has just been astronomical, and it just hasn't gotten done. I mean, right now, Brian Flores is on his 4th offensive line coach in 3 seasons.
Although I don't blame the offensive line coach here. You're asking him to do way too. Dude, what offensive line?
No.
What offensive line coach is going to make 4 rookies starts? Come on.
I don't care. These guys have multiple games of starting experience. You chose to go with Michael Dieter as your starting center. That was a conscious choice and decision
He's not the worst player on that line.
No, hey. I'm not arguing with that.
Okay, all right. Okay.
But if we're gonna go across the board and we're gonna point fingers on
by the way, he is one of the few that has shown improvement.
He's okay. And I'm not arguing that he's not okay. But if we're going to say how many members of the Miami Dolphins offensive line would be starting right now for
Zero.
I didn't even say the team. Come on, let me say the team first.
Zero. They'd struggle to start at the University of Miami. Zero.
I'm not going to go that harsh.
I know.
I think Robert Hunt might be the only guy who would start for 10 other NFL teams. And maybe Liam Eichenberg can develop into a player that you have confidence in as a starter. And, you know, I'm not opposed to it. My thought is, and this is something that I've been thinking and pondering and calculating. I talk about the Unicorns a lot because that was the last successful offensive line that you had. And the birth of the Unicorns was a byproduct of you firing 3 guys a month into the season and saying, hey, 3rd-round picks, 4th-round picks, we don't need you. Take a hike. You guys suck. We figured it out. We're going to go with these old guys. And right. Bushrod and, you know, and yes, that line had a lot of talented 1st-round picks on it.
Yeah, Bushrod couldn't move anymore at that point.
But he was a finishing piece. They said, young guys, out the door, Bushrod, you're in. And
but the difference with that is you're anchored with Pouncey, Albert, and who was the 3rd guy? They had 3 quality guys. Who am I missing?
Laramie, and Juwan James.
Juwan James is what it was, not Laramie Tunsil. Juwan James.
Oh, Laramie was good on that line as a right guard, as a left guard.
Yeah. But again, the young guy has 2 veterans, Pro Bowlers next to him, left and right.
Yeah,
That's
but Pouncey didn't finish that season, so let's
But okay, but my point is, at least you had guys there that can play. We're proven we're pro freaking bowlers.
Yeah,
They're not just guys. We're talking Pouncey had played at an elite level, and so did Brandon Albert. These guys were studs.
yeah.
At that point they weren't the same kind of studs. But my point is, that's what this line needs. I think even with some of these young guys, if you had 2 or 3 veterans sprinkled in, stud veterans, even stud veterans that are a little bit on the decline, this line would be much better than what it is.
Eric Flowers would have made the line a lot better than what it is right now, because it would have been one piece, one spot that you don't really have to worry about. And you can say whatever you want about him and how he wasn't a top shelf starter or how he's playing in Washington right now. I'm sorry, but he wouldn't have been a problem. Right now, you got problems and leaks everywhere. And let's be real about this. The first round pick that you used on Austin Jackson isn't looking too good right now, because he's getting his face bashed in.
Yeah, he has not. That's why I say Dieter's the last guy we got to pick on, because Hunt has definitely looked good. Dieter's actually shown improvement. I can't say that about anybody else right now so far. And it's unfair for Eichenberg because he just got here. But on the left side, I can't say that those guys have improved more than Dieter has.
I haven't gone over the film yet, but Solomon Kinley, he played well in the first game. I really didn't see. Now, what were the protection issues? And that's an everybody issue. That's a tight end. That's a wide receiver. That's a running back. Because I know fans just say sack, it's on the offensive line, but that's not the case. That's not reality. But everybody has to do better in order to protect this quarterback, whoever the quarterback's going to be. And right now, if you're going to talk about what the Achilles heel is of this team, it's the offensive line.
By the way, Eric Flowers doesn't start in Washington.
Oh, doesn't
some guy named Wes Schweitzer.
Okay.
An undrafted free agent from Atlanta is the guy starting over Eric Flowers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe you could trade for him again.
Well, if you can't make that starting unit, I guess they were right in cutting them, because obviously he can't even get it done over there. I mean, they even picked up some of the salary, and then Washington got the rest, and he can't even start over there. So that's kind of hurting. And then here's the other thing that I got to pick on the offensive coordinators for. And he's both our boy here. How I know, even though you were rooting for Albert and all that, and I'm honest about Jakeem as a receiver, all that. Hell, I was telling you, we have a bunch of receivers. Now you don't have to use Jakeem. It's a beautiful thing. Why the hell is Mac Hollins not playing? That's something that needs to be asked at 2 p.m. How is Mac Hollins not playing over Albert Wilson and Jakeem Grant when he has been the more consistent player? He makes plays when you need him, and he helps you on both sides of the ball, where Albert Wilson doesn't even help you on special teams. This guy helps you on special teams on top of all of that.
And he's a captain. But I saw Mac Hollins wearing a red jersey earlier in the week. Red jerseys usually designates don't touch this player. There's an injury here. But he wasn't on the injury report which made me like, this doesn't translate. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe it was just a scout team jersey. He wasn't wearing, he was trying to hide it. And so I didn't really understand what was going on there.
He had diarrhea. He had diarrhea in a collision. There would have been an explosion, so they didn't want to. They wanted to avoid that. That's what happened.
Yeah. So you make a valid point. Should they be playing Jakeem Grant as receiver? No. Anymore. No. And
I tell you that, dude.
Yes.
Did I say that? I even reasoned with you. I go, the best part about having all these receivers is that you don't have to use Jakeem anymore, because you know what happens when you use Jakeem at wide receiver. Jesus, dude. And they still used him at wide receiver.
By the way,
I need you to do me a favor. I need you to do me a favor. You need to go into the locker room.
With no locker room.
And no, but you still got to sneak in and grab Albert Wilson's pants and paint them as shorts. And then he'll catch everything in sight. Okay?
That
Right?
I have expected so much more from Albert Wilson based on what I've seen, and it just hasn't shown up yet. And yeah, the 2 drops is not great. I can't explain what one. Let's not get all caught up in the Buffalo beatdown, because I'm sorry, you're not in the same league as Buffalo.
No,
You're in the same division, but you're not in the same league as Buffalo.
and it's still one game.
And
One loss.
let's put this even further. Was it all Buffalo? No, because you were in the red zone or in scoring territory 4 times in the first half. If you had just kicked field goals, the score would have been 14-12. Second half, whole new ball game. If you had just kicked field goals. But
I mean, how does Parker drop that ball, dude? You can't drop that ball. There's no excuse for that, man. Devontae, your team needs you badly, dude. That was a huge touchdown if you get that. They could have led at halftime. That's how many times they were in scoring position in that. And I got to give the defense much props there, because they adjusted and gave them a chance in that first half.
I'm not about to crown the defense, because I expect it. You can't start every game by allowing.
I didn't crown them, but they made up for the crappy 14 points that they gave up.
You can't start every game allowing a 40-yard run.
You're right.
And they've done that twice now. The linebacker play has been a disaster against the run. Yeah. I really can't. No pressure. No pressure.
No.
I'm not going to sit here and crown them. Like
there were a couple times. There were a couple times, dude, that Ogba was right there.
Ogba would have 6 to 8 sacks right now if we delivered on the right there.
You're right. You're right.
He is a step slow from being a $18 million a year player. And I said it to him last week. I was like, you know how many? You missed 3 sacks, just missed them. And he's like, yes, I know. And this week we had another 3 on the pile, and he got half a sack.
And dude, he hit Josh Allen good a couple of times, because he was right there. The second it was released, he was nailing Josh Allen, and it was and to Josh's credit, and a couple of those times, it's not where he's in the pocket. He's kind of rolling away from Ogba, so it makes it even farther for Ogba to get there. And he's right there, dude. He's right there.
So much money on the table right now.
But I'm. You know what? I hate this. I know this is going to sound homerish on my part. I'm effing loving his effort. He has not. He at no point has he let up, dude.
He's playing for money. You playing for money? I love guys playing for money.
Right. Yeah, amen.
Mike Gesicki should be playing for money right now too, but he can't get on the field.
Well, that's not. It's not his fault when the line can't block. And okay, so now we roll over to this question.
You putting the line can't block? How about Mike can't block?
Yeah, Mike. Well, Mike couldn't block ever. He's not there to block. But here we go now. Are we going to go to max protection now more often?
Should have been a max protection.
No, but I mean, practically 90% of the time.
I mean, right now you're facing Khalil Mack,
no, and the other dude.
Oh, I'm sorry. Khalil Mack isn't there anymore.
No, it's the other dude, the Walker, whatever the hell it is, the crazy white dude that has got incredible energy and a motor. I'll look up his name now. But yeah, no, they've got 2 guys that can get after the quarterback for the Raiders. That's going to be a pain in the ass. And by the way, the Raiders have shocked me the way they've played. I got to give them some props, man. I mean, that's
good
pretty
coaching.
Impressive.
Good coaching. Good front office, too.
Max Crosby is the name of that crazy bastard. And then Ngakoue is on the other side. So they got a couple of guys that are going to be a pain in the ass. It ain't no Clean and Farrell or whatever. That was a monster bust for them. A top 5 pick that's been inactive the first 2 weeks.
Greg Russo, 2 sacks. Jesus Lord.
Yeah. Yep. He got him yesterday. He did.
And Jalen Phillips got 3 tackles. Woohoo!
Yeah, he played 18 snaps.
Yeah, I know. But
Charlotte played 20.
I'm curious what happens if you just have Jalen Phillips with his hand in the ground as a pass rusher. Now, I'm not.
The problem is it's a 3-4.
Yeah.
If he can't get off as it is on a 4-3 at this level and a 3-4, they'll eat him up.
He's further away from the quarterback. So in a 3-4, I don't know. I don't know. I think they need to reconsider a lot of things that they're doing. I think they need to reconsider. There's no reason that Liam Eichenberg shouldn't be competing with Austin Jackson for the starting left tackle spot. None, zero.
Or right tackle, since it is to his blind side.
It might be his job now. That Jesse. I mean, we know the situation with Jesse. It's only a matter of time before that knee flares up on him.
And he gave up a sack. That was a terrible sack.
That was a terrible sack. There's no excusing that sack. None. Zero. Wasn't a blitz. Wasn't a misidentification. No, the guy just got a slow guy just got all the way around you.
If you're going to go down this route already, then you might as well put Eichenberg in there and just find out which one of these 5 guys are going to stick by the end of the year and which are the ones you're going to get rid of at the end of the year or move them to backups or anything like that. But if you don't get them playing time, you're never going to find out about these guys. What you do know is Jesse's not your future. Jesse is your 6th guy. That's what he should be on this team. You've got to find 5 starting guys. And so you got
it's
5.
It's hard to defend Jesse Davis after what he just did, which is get your quarterback hurt, which is the cardinal sin of all offensive linemen. But yes. Jesse's been generally the most consistent guy that you have for years. That's
not saying much. That's like, as the late, great Mad Dog would say, that's like being the valedictorian of summer school. You know what I mean? It's just, it just doesn't work, bro.
Listen, I'm not opposed to reconsidering anything, but I will say this: a beatdown from Buffalo shouldn't be the time that you start to reconsider your whole life and start to re-envision your team. I'm sorry. How many years have you been beat down by Buffalo? Like, when have you played Buffalo well?
6-1, bro. 6 and you're 1-6 in the last 7. So yeah.
So let's clean the slate. I'm a big believer in Flores's, flush it after 24 hours. And that loss is embarrassing. You want to claim that last year's loss, the season finale where you got beat down by backups, wasn't embarrassing and didn't leave a hangover. I object. I say that it did leave a hangover because you just flat out played like your booty hole was tight. And it just came off that way. Everybody played like their booty hole was tight. And it just
bad game. You can't, there's no way around it, bro.
It's a bad game. You flush it, you go to Vegas, you dial in, you ride your horses. Myles Gaskin, you haven't gotten the most out of him. Clearly you haven't leaned on Devontae as much as you possibly can. Obviously you got to figure out a third receiver situation because I don't know if Will Fuller's coming back. And Jacoby Brissett, I don't expect to play. I'm sure he's going to try to practice with bruised ribs, and that's great. But the last thing I'm doing is sticking a fragile, small, durability challenged quarterback out there with a flat jacket on and then expecting him to perform well.
It's almost impossible to argue that. I'd love to try to come up with another side to that.
I would love, and I love Tua, but I would love to tell you that an injury fragile Tua wearing a flat jacket is going to play well, but I'm not insane. So, and sure, we'll put him out there practice and we'll look at it and watch it and reevaluate, but I'd rather go into it with a full week of Jacoby Brissett. This is your team for right now for the next 2 weeks. Let's see what you could do.
Yeah,
it's not a competition.
No, I get it. It's an injury-prone quarterback that's injured. Why would you put him behind that line? That would only open you up to much worse, is what it is. It makes all the sense in the world. So Do they go and get another free agent quarterback out on the street? No, not Cam Newton, but somebody else out there, because obviously Reed Sinnett is there on the practice squad. Or
Yeah.
do they elevate Reed Sinnett?
And they got to elevate Reed. They got to elevate Reed and probably go get yourself a third arm for the practice squad, kick some tires on somebody out there on the street. But, Reed Sinnett deserves this opportunity.
Because of the rules, they can get a veteran and put him on the practice squad, correct?
They can. Yes, they can. They'd have to probably remove one of the players, the veterans on their practice squad.
Like Jabal Shear is, like you're saying, on one of those slots?
Jabal Shears or Bobby Hart. Yeah, they'd have to. Or
Hart,
I think they can Pat Reed, Patrick Laird, and Munson, Calvin Munson. They can do a number of things.
Right.
I don't know what veteran is out there, to be honest with you. So I can't. They can sign Cam Newton as a veteran. Not that he's ever going to do that, but yeah, they can sign anybody they want to the practice squad right now. So,
do you know anything about Fluker and how long was he out till or some crap? I forgot about that, because I'm sure they're probably going to kick those tires again.
They signed an injury settlement, so you can't come back for, I think, 4 games. Don't quote me on that. Once you sign to an injury settlement, it's like the amount of weeks that you're paying for is when you can't return. And lo and behold, we don't know what kind of shape Fluker's in at this point, because if you got a leg injury and you can't run and you're already a 350-pound man, I'm sorry that expecting him to come in and instantly fix your problems is probably not realistic.
No,
I don't know how he's been training, but he's been heavy his whole life. So, you think he's going to be on a diet? I don't think so.
No, there's very few of those guys. There's a couple freaks that actually have done that, but very few of those guys that have actually.
Man. A lot of what I'm seeing now, the new trend is offensive linemen when they're done playing. Like, have you seen Mike Pouncey and his brother?
I know.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
They're like at 260.
Yeah.
And it's quite impressive to see. The offensive line reverse is just a masterful thing. I don't know how they are doing it. But
God bless them.
Yeah.
Well, they're smart, bro. It's they beat up their joints as it is with those 300+ pounds.
They don't want to carry the weight.
But now their backs and their joints are going to feel a lot better because they're carrying a hell of a lot less weight. So it's an incredibly smart move on those linemen on any of our parts. If we could actually lose the weight, so we can stress on our bodies, because Lord knows I'm doing it on a consistent basis.
I weighed myself today in the Publix, and I'm quite pleasantly surprised. I'm not as heavy as I thought I was. The dieting and the exercise is working now. And now I got about another 8 to lose. So I'm proud of myself, Big O. Proud of myself.
I'm proud of you. I'm depressed with myself, but I'm proud of you. So
hey, I've seen you do it. I've seen you do it and gain it and lose it and gain it and lose it and gain it and lose it. You know how to do it, so you just gotta do it.
I know how to do it. I just haven't found the motivation again to do it. I got to find some kind of motivation or something. I don't know what it is.
Living, Big O, living.
Yeah. That would help a little bit. Yeah, I would definitely extend it. Although with my luck is I'd lose all the weight. I'm really skinny. Then I have a heart attack and die. So, it's just kind of the way it goes too. You know what I'm saying? So.
Hey man, it sucks getting old. It does. I also checked my blood pressure, which was just astronomical. And I'm like, damn, how do I fix that?
Before we go, anything else that was on your mind from yesterday that you want to get off your chest?
No, I'm riding Brissett. I'm leaning a little bit heavier on my run game. I'm trying to figure out a way to make Gesicki work for me. Because I'm sorry, there should be no reason Seth and Carter's starting over Mike Gesicki. I no disrespect, but everybody started over Mike Gesicki now. Come on, this is a guy you're gonna potentially put the franchise tag on. You're devaluing him right now, which I've seen worse. I've seen organizations. I've seen them cheat Reggie Bush out of $500,000. I've seen them cheat Robbie Brown or Ronnie Brown out of money, not playing him in the season finale. But you got
that happens everywhere.
I know it does.
They did that to Marshall Faulk in Indianapolis. That's why that was one of the reasons why he wanted out.
Sick. Yeah. Which is get your money, man. Get your money. This is a business.
I know, but in this case, I don't think there's any malicious intent. I think he's game planning, and he knows his line is struggling, and so Gesicki's not the blocker, so he's got to use the guys that might be more blockers and can maybe catch the ball a little bit and be somewhat of a threat.
My partner David Feronis, we got Gesicki last week, and man, when for Feronis, I give him credit. He asked some tough ass questions, and he asked Gesicki, any concern about your blocking keeping you off the field? And man, Gesicki gave him a look like he just sucker punched him in the stomach. He was hurt. And he's like, reality. I mean, he knows. I mean, we beat him up on the blocking for the first couple of years of his career, and then we got over it and said, okay, he's a slot receiver. He's a big slot receiver. Now, unfortunately, you don't need those players till you're trailing. So,
right.
What are we gonna do? How are we gonna figure this out?
By the way, Pelissero has reported Tua Tagovailoa underwent further tests this morning on his bruised ribs, and my understanding is those didn't reveal any major issues. X-rays were negative, so it'll be about pain tolerance and functional moving forward. How about that?
So basically, shoot him up and put a flak jacket on him and see how it goes.
Right. Well, I mean, and let me tell you something. For Tua, he has the label of fragile, and he knows it, and he had to fight it off from people talking about it. Well, now it's reared its ugly head, and if he doesn't play, people are gonna, continue. So if this may like force him to try to get back on the field a little faster, so that perception dies.
That might speed up the Deshaun Watson trade too.
Well, those things are done until next year. His legal issues won't be done before the trading deadline. So
he's not on the commissioner's exempt list.
Well, see, watch Houston try to play him this week, and watch him go on that list right away. The commissioner hasn't done anything because Houston's done everything for him. They have casted him aside. They're not doing anything. So the commissioner's clean right now. The second that they put the league at risk, which by playing him, that puts the league at risk.
Not at risk, just embarrassed.
Yeah, that's the risk. That's the risk. The embarrassment of
this league plays killers, murderers, rapists.
I know what you're saying, but the whole Ray Rice thing blew up in their faces because they gave him a 2-game suspension, and then the video came out, and most people think that they knew about this video, and they were, nobody will find out about it, and then it came out, and then they looked like idiots, and then they had to then obviously, up the penalties and suspension for Rice. So I think to further avoid embarrassment, because if you start playing a guy or trading a guy that does get charged for some kind of sexual crime, you're going to look like a complete loser out there. So I think the NFL just wants to avoid that part. That's all I'm saying.
They'll get past it. Pittsburgh survived.
Yeah. If you could keep the evidence out, you'll survive, is what I'm saying. Yes. Big Ben kept the evidence out and he survived. But the question is, we don't know anything about this case, dude.
Nothing.
There are so many women involved. We don't know if there's any emails, any videos, any pictures. We have no idea. And so I think they want to be thorough about this, because if it does come out, dude, they're going to look terrible.
If they want to be thorough, they put them on the commissioner's exempt list and wait for the evidence. And I don't know why they haven't, because you put people on the commissioner's exempt list for less.
Yes. I know. It's crazy. All right, appreciate you as always, man. Great segment, my friend. We will talk later on in the week. A little Vegas.
Yeah, man. They got to get better pass rushing, no matter what.
I'm with you. Be good.
Along the many problems that need to be fixed. So we'll see how good this Flores is at fixing these issues.
Let's see.
Handling a little adversity.
A lot of adversity this week. All right, be good.
You You've been listening to the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins Report with Omar Kelly. For additions, home remodeling, or custom work, call Eric at 305-433-4843. EJDconstruction.com is the custom home builder and general contractor you can trust. 305-433-4843.
Right, we are back. We thank Omar Kelly for another fantastic segment, breaking everything down. Man, there's been a lot of texts. A lot of you out there, please smash the like button. Smash the like button while you're watching. It is incredibly important. Bill says if they trade for Watson, they won't have any first-round picks for a while. They're not trading for Watson. You can't trade for him right now. Until his legal issues are done, and it'll be after the trade deadline, folks, the Watson thing is not happening. So let's get past that, and let's see what Tua does from here on out. Let's see if he can play. You just saw that report from Tom Pelissero that, it's all up to pain tolerance now for him. So let me tell you something. This actually was the best case scenario for Tua. This was the best case scenario for the Miami Dolphins. Period. But this team is going to have, you know what you're going to have to do? Maybe play more, play a fullback. Play some tight ends now that can block. You're going to have to do some stuff and get creative and protect this quarterback and find a way to keep him clean. But this is the best case scenario because now he's not out for 4 to 6 weeks. Hopefully he can get back this week or next week. And this way now you get your quarterback back and you give him an opportunity to play out the season if he can stay healthy behind that line. I will tell you this, and let me prepare you for this, okay? While I am a Tua believer of his ability and that it can transfer to this league and he can have success, another injury, and I'm done. Because this is who he is. This is what he was in Alabama. It just gets to a point. It's kind of like the Devontae Parker thing. I love Devontae Parker, man. But we know he's just unreliable because his body constantly breaks down. And that's the one thing that I'm not going to look forward to. If there's another injury with Tua, I'm going to say, hey, man, you got to go find another guy that you can rely on. And then they're going to have to make a move at that point. But for me, Tua on the injury side has a very short leash because that's always been my concern with him. And you've got to be able to stay in that lineup. You've got to be able to help your team one way or another. Now, I can't expect him to have that much success if that line can't block. That's where I can't blame him. I just can't. So, and clearly he doesn't have any luck on his side when it comes to injuries. That's a shame. Big O, but that hit on Tua could injure anyone. Maybe. But it's definitely going to injure a smaller quarterback, and that's my problem. That's been my worry with Kyler Murray, that he's so small. But what's the difference between Kyler Murray and Tua? Kyler Murray is as fast as a water bug. You can't catch him. So you can't get a good hit on him. Kind of like Ward Dunn, Barry Sanders. Who else? A couple of those kind of Russell Wilson. Also, it's hard to get a really good hit on those kind of guys because they can move so quickly. That's not Tua. Tua's a decent athlete. He's actually a good athlete, but he's not a great athlete. He's not Lamar Jackson. He can't move like Lamar Jackson. And that's kind of what you need behind that line. Now, Lamar couldn't pass out of this line he's not really much of a passer, period. He's kind of a remedial passer overall. He's just a freakish talent. Those legs, that athleticism, that vision that he has. Oh my God, that vision is better than most running backs I've seen in the history of the NFL. Very few people have the vision that Lamar Jackson and speed and the lateral quickness that he has. I don't know. They're very. It's like you have to be Barry Sanders. That's the only guy that I can compare to have those kind of open field movements. It's freakish, but that's not Tua. Tua can't move like Russell. He can't move like Murray, and nobody moves like Jackson. Tua has to beat you with his arm. But in order to beat you from his arm, you've got to protect him from the pocket. But if he cannot be durable, that's a problem. It is what it is, man. But that hit, I'm sorry. It's a hit that a bigger quarterback probably survives and moves on. But he's not a bigger quarterback. Because a bigger quarterback doesn't fall as hard. Because it's harder to bring him down. That's the difference. I love Tua's ability, man. But Tua's durability is a major, major concern for me. So he better find a way to get rid of the football, to stay awake on all of this. And, and then the coaching staff has got to do a better job of protecting him. That's the other thing. G Firm chimes in, 456. He says, I love the show, Big O. Breeze had 10 times the worst last. Yeah, but he had no arm. That he was done. That was the problem with Breeze last year. He was cooked. And don't forget, folks, just like G Firm, you can make a donation to the program. Cash App or Venmo is the best way to do it at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. We do have a text line, 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. If you want to get in on the text line, that's the other way. If you don't want to be on the YouTube chat board there, Charlie says Tua made awesome running touchdowns, even juking defenders to do it. Dolphins suck, not Tua. You know what, Charlie? I can't argue with you. They've done a shitty job of protecting the kid. Yes, and that's the one thing that I would say that Chris Greer and Brian Flores have to readjust, and they have to look at what they're doing. That offensive line, you're not going to be able to. Your quarterback won't live to be able to find out if you can develop him. He's just not the guy that's going to take a pounding like this. Okay. By the way, Big O, love your show. I've been a Dolphin fan since they won that KC on Xmas Day in 1971. So I've watched 50 years of Dolphin football. From that perspective, this is what we need for Tua. He is a Bob Greasy style QB. For Tua, you need two big things. On offensive line, similar to the early 70s, that can not only protect the QB, but can open holes for the rushing attack. You are correct. Second, a dominating rusher like Derrick Henry. Well, that's a little too much. You had a segment of Omar Kelly where he mentioned rushing for 2,000 yards. I know you laughed at it, laughed it off, my friend, but it's what you need with Tua. Yeah, but that's, they just don't grow on trees like Derrick Henry, dude. I mean, that's like a physical freak. Did you watch what they did in overtime? Handoff, field goal. It's like you don't have to pass the ball when you've got that guy. You know what I'm saying? That guy is that punishing, that athletic, that freakish, that, you make it sound like it's really easy to find a Derrick Henry. The good Lord only made one of those, dude. There doesn't exist another one on the planet. This is Christian Okoye with a ton of athleticism. Okay? Christian Okoye was good. He was tough, hard-running, big, strong running back, but he never possessed the kind of abilities that Derrick Henry has. Derrick Henry has this freakish ability that he can pull away from people with his size. So, yes, they do need a great running back. Every team needs a great running back. You know what I mean? And Miami needs one. I definitely agree with you on that one. Third, a dominating defense that can shut down the run. Well, you've just created a Super Bowl team. It's just not that easy to do that. Just found you on YouTube. I'm going to start watching going forward. Hope to meet you one day when I travel down to Florida. You would not believe the number of Miami Dolphin fans stuck up here in Buffalo. Today are one of those days Americans stuck behind enemy lines in Afghanistan. Well, go say hi to Lisa. Lisa's also in Rochester. And Ragin, I think Ragin Dolphin Maniac is also in your area there in Rochester also. He says, by the way, my name is Lou, And you were absolutely correct in your observation of how we're handling the offensive line. We should have signed a top-notch veteran or two to anchor our line, then draft young players to play and learn with them. What are we doing now? Starting 4 second-year guys, soon-to-be rookie Eichenberg is nuts. I'm with you there. Miami was looking at Feliciano. It's too bad we couldn't get him in free agency. Yeah, the former UMer. He was playing last night. I saw him. Good dude, too, John Feliciano. I remember talking with him and at the East West Shrine game. I had a little powwow with Feliciano, with what's the name of the D lineman that was a legacy guy, a Chicolo, and I think there was one more guy there, if I remember correctly, from the U at the East West Shrine game. Let's just hope for some better days ahead, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. There is no overreaction going on today, Big O. The fact is, Grier has screwed this rebuild. Terrible free agency last year. All these picks and no stars. You say the young guys starting. Of course, they are. What are you going to start? These guys suck. Ross should give Grier one more year to fix this or he's out. We will stop with the Wilson BS. You stop with the Grier BS. Okay. All right. Wilson has proven nothing. Grier has done something at least. That's the difference. That's fair. How much on the O-line issues could be attributed to Tua not calling protections? What does Tua not calling protections have anything to do with Jesse Davis completely failing on his block? Nothing. Has nothing to do with it. Jesse Davis had one job: stop the pass rusher. And he didn't. And the pass rusher went on to motorize Tua. That's a little Three Stooges, by the way, for those of you that didn't pick up on it. Can't wait for Sims. Oh, sometimes when you're a rookie, you do exactly what coaches tell you to do, but the game doesn't always show you that situation you practice on and then makes you have to improve. That's the benefit of having an experienced player next to you to give guidance. And what he means is Keith Sims tomorrow will be joining us here on the show. He'll be here at 11:30. So I'm looking forward to talking to the former Dolphin offensive lineman and Pro Bowler. I have total confidence in Flores and Grier, but I hope they know they will put a strong emphasis on the O-line because we can't risk Tua's career by our own hands. Let's go. Let's hope he heals quickly on to Las Vegas. Big O, do you think we should have just bit the bullet and paid what Joe Tunney and David Andrews were asking for them to come to play with us? Yeah, because I didn't mind them doing this, but in hindsight, when you start looking at this, it's too many young guys. It's just too many. And it's not like you drafted 5 guys or 4 guys that are top 5 picks. The highest picked guy is Austin Jackson at 18. So if you fall all the way to 18 at his offensive tackle, you've got some holes in your game. And then the rest of these guys are later round picks. So yeah, they should have veterans on this line. That's the one hole I've got to in their rebuild here. I'm all right with what Grier and Flo have done in pretty much overall and everything. But the offensive line, yeah, that has to be relooked. That has to be revamped. That has to be redone. There has to be something there. You have to figure something out. The only knock I have on Flores is that he didn't max protect Tua when he was getting hit a few times. Dude, it's 9 plays. You know what I mean? That's the problem, Dolphin Jeff. I get it, but it's 9 plays. You know? That's the issue there. Me and the Don, year 72 and year 84. Not sure what that means. But appreciate you reaching out on the text line. Let me see. Somebody sent me a link to a tweet. And it's probably the Pelissero one. Yes. So thank you, whoever sent that one. Appreciate it. I have Twitter right in front of me, so I see it sometimes when it comes up, but I appreciate it. So there's good news, at least, with Tua. I like that. At least we have some good news in that situation. Daniel says, and please, by the way, smash the hell out of the like button. It is incredibly important that you smash the like button. Ohio John chiming in with a little super chat. Folks, we have 349 people right now in the chat board. I want 348 because Ohio John's one of them. On 348, congratulations to Ohio John. Traveled from Ohio to the game yesterday. Proposed to his lovely fiance. She said yes, of course. They're getting married. Congratulate Ohio John, please. Tell him congratulations there. That is so cool. I just wish they got a Dolphin win. Gonna enjoy watching Holland develop. Forgot to ask yesterday, do you think they can use Noah's experience returning kicks on our special teams soon? The problem is with that, Ohio John, is that they haven't looked at it like he's a difference maker as a returner. If they do, then they would put him in there. The fact that they didn't, that tells me that he's okay, but he's not the answer, so we're not using him. Now, with the Jakeem injury, I don't know how serious it is. All I'm asking is, as the leader of the Jakeem Club fan club, I like Jakeem Grant. I think he's a fantastic returner. That's where it ends. Stop using him as a wide receiver. If I have a critique this week, I got to challenge the coaches and ask them, what the hell were you thinking? And why isn't Matt Collins playing over Albert Wilson and Jakeem Grant? He's a better football player than both those guys. And that right there, that's one of my beefs with them. Yeah, the offensive line issues, that's going to be a concern. But on the coaching side, you cannot do that anymore. I mean, Matt Collins has earned the opportunity and the respect to get those chances. And I believe he would have caught all those balls. He would have caught both that Albert dropped and the one Jakeem drops. He doesn't drop either one of those. Because I feel like I can rely on him more than any of those two guys as a wide receiver. I want Jakeem Grant returning punts and kicks. That's it. That's all. He's exceptional at that. Leave him where he belongs. Leave him where he excels. That's what coaches do. Put players in positions where they excel and they can have success. Big O, sadly, management made a boo-boo by not adding a couple of experienced vets to groom the kids on the O-line. Let's see if we get this fixed, because I think it's holding the offense back. It is, George, but I don't know how they do it in the middle of the season. You know what I mean? That's the problem. I don't know how they do it in the middle of the season. It's a shame. Jakeem hurt. How Jakeem gets hurt every fumble, get rid of the dude, please. Well, that's short-sighted, of course, because you want to get rid of one of the three best returners in the NFL. Why don't you complain to the coaches on why they used him as a wide receiver? When you know he drops footballs as a wide receiver, why do you keep using him? So I don't blame Jakeem. I blame the coaches. I don't blame Albert Wilson. I blame the coaches. I mean, I saw it coming. Not that I'm perfect, but I'm. How could you rely on Albert Wilson when there's nothing on record to rely on? How can you rely on Jakeem Grant as a wide receiver when there's nothing on record to rely on? Coaches dug their own grave. On those calls, it's their own grave. Matt Collins has shown me more since he's been here than both those guys. So I'm not going to blame the players. The players failed because that's who they are. The coaches failed because they failed to read the situation. So I'm not blaming Albert Wilson, and I'm not blaming Jakeem Grant. They are what they are. I blame the people that put them there. And you put them there thinking you can count on them. That's your fault, Godsey. That's your fault, Studsville. That's your fault, Flo. And I don't pick on Flo much. But on that one, especially when I've been on this bandwagon for a while, telling you, hey, man, Jakeem, strictly a returner, not a receiver. Albert Wilson, cut. Or if somehow or another you could have traded him, get anything you can for his ass. And yet, you kept him on the roster, and you've actually used him, and it's been a disaster. So, Too Extreme says trade Albert Wilson and promote Kirk Merritt. I don't know if you can trade Albert Wilson at this point, but just get rid of him already. Put him on the practice squad. Let somebody else pick him up. That's what you do. Tuttle says, if you had a decent O-line, you can take advantage of the speed. Not if he doesn't hang on to the ball. It's about catching the ball, Tuttle. Has nothing to do with the O-line. You could be 5 yards away or 50 yards away. If you're dropping the pass, you're dropping the pass. So it really has nothing. I mean, Devontae Parker was in the end zone. Jacoby Brissett put a perfect pass there. And he dropped it. I can't blame the coaches there. They drew up the right play. Can't blame the quarterback there. He made the right throw. I can't blame the offensive line. They gave him time enough to throw the damn ball. The only guy I can blame there is Devontae Parker. He's got to know better as a leader on this team and a veteran on this team. That was unacceptable on Parker's part. But Albert Wilson and Jakeem Grant, they had no business being on the field as wide receivers for the Dolphins. You have better wide receivers. Matt Collins and Kirk Merritt I'd rather use. I don't get it. You know what I mean? David Rome recording. Big O, please comment. Problem with O-line is trying to make them versatile so they become jack of all trades and master of none. Play them in one position and let them master it. Dude, Austin Jackson's been at left tackle. Solomon Kinley's been at left guard. Dieter started out at center, has been at center. And Hunt has stayed at right guard. I'm not sure what you're talking about. They're not moving them around. They've all been at the same position throughout the entire training camp and preseason and to start the season. Are you following what's going on, my brother? They're not moving them around. They have all settled in at that spot. There was no competition at center. Dieter did enough that those other guys never got an opportunity. Austin Jackson was always your left tackle. I'm not sure what you're talking about. They haven't moved those guys around. They're just not good enough. That's the problem, my man. Nothing more, nothing less. The excuses of moving them around, all that, none of that flies. They've been playing the same position for months now. They had time, at least to try to gel and try to get better, and they have not gotten better. That has nothing to do with it, man. Was Lynn Bowden really hurt enough for season ending? Much better solution than Albert Wilson. Lynn Bowden had nothing to do with it. We just told you got Matt Collins and Kirk Merritt, bro. There's other guys you can use. If Bowden was injured, he's injured. I don't know about anything about his injury. If they put him on IR, what do you want me to do? That's an unanswered. Obviously, well, you know what? It is answered. They must have felt that his injury was serious enough that forget it. We'll just put him on IR. And they also must have felt that his development still needed time. Eric Storm says, why are there so many morons in Miami's fan base who think getting Watson is going to solve the problems with O-line? Miami could have Mahomes and they would lose 35-0 yesterday. Well, actually, both Watson and Mahomes would end up injured behind that line also. Yes, you are. Eric, you brought a storm of a comment to the table. You are correct, sir. No one can argue that point. Almost every quarterback, Jacoby got banged up in that game yesterday, and he's a big kid. All right? Should I say big man, because he's not like a fresh face out of college. So when you're 54, ladies and gentlemen, you kind of look at, 20-year-olds like kids, It's just the way it is. But yeah, Jacoby is a big man, and he got banged up in that game. Every quarterback is going to get killed behind that offensive line. That's something that they're going to have to look at. Okay. Let's see. Troy says Tua did not help himself either. He has the power to change the protections. Again, why the same dumb comment out there? What does the protections have anything to do with Jesse Davis and the defensive end beating him badly? That's Jesse's job, dude. If anything, you're going to swing protections to the left side to help out Austin Jackson because Jesse's your only veteran. So you would figure out of all the guys, he's the best lineman, isn't he? So he's the guy that needs less help. So let's stop with this whole protection stuff. Stop blaming Tua for that injury. That injury was all on Jesse Davis. Understand that. Nobody has a crystal ball, and nobody can say, well, on this play, Austin's going to get run over and you're going to get hit. No, on this play, it'll be Jesse Davis that'll get run over. So let's swing it over. Unless you have that kind of a crystal ball that you can then give that information to the quarterbacks, which, by the way, I would love that as a Dolphins fan. If you have that prior information and you can tell the quarterbacks the future, then I need you to get into his headset and talk to him during the in-between plays and say, hey, just so you'll know, there's going to be a jailbreak in the middle of that line. So you might want to keep the backs in to pick up that extra blitzer. And in that way, he could call the protections right after. But if you have that information, sir, please, I need you to hack into the radios for the Dolphins at Hard Rock Stadium and on the road. I know it'll be a little difficult for you when you're in New England because we all know Belichick's a little busy right now, listening to everything going on in that stadium. So it's going to be harder there in that stadium. But all the other stadiums, luckily the Astros don't play football, sir. You'll be all right. You'll be able to, rig it, get into the ear, and you can predict where somebody is going to have a breakdown. So please help our quarterbacks out, sir. Okay? Because, of course, they, calling protections also, you guess exactly where everything's coming from. And, I mean, you saw it coming that Jesse Davis was going to lose that battle and injure Tua. And let me ask you something, sir. If you knew that there was going to be a jailbreak there on the right side, why didn't you go out? I mean, if you're a so-called Dolphins fan, why didn't you hack into the radios? I'm just wondering. I mean, you're all world and you're all knowing. You should be able to hack into the radios and help out our quarterbacks. Just saying. Martina Davies says, I can't speak for anyone but myself, but I'm having a depressing day. Yesterday was so disappointing. I can't get rid of the cloud following me today. Well, you got to let it go. It's one game. It's one game, Martina. So where were you last year at 0-2 after they lost to the Bills and the Patriots? They were 0-2. Did you give up on the season also then? They went 10-4 after that. Same coach that went 0-7, and then his team went 5-4 with a monster win at the end. You've watched him in 2 years bounce back from all adversities. So can't you feel good about that and say, all right, well, Flo will figure it out and he'll put together. Hey, listen, at that first half, while it sucked the way it started, the defense did everything in its power, and then the offense executed enough to put itself in position to easily tie or lead that game at halftime. So the coaches and the players put themselves in that position. The players did not finish by executing certain plays. It's not as bad as you make it out to be. It's just one game out of 17. Buffalo was better anyway. You know that, and I know that. Okay, so some of us were expecting a little more. All right? Some of us were nutbags in picking them to actually win.
Blind ass fan alert. Look out, everyone. We've got a blind ass fan coming through.
You know, happens. All right. This coaching staff has proven enough to not panic after one terrible outing. And it was a terrible outing. There's no way around it. But I'm not throwing all hope like I have with the Canes. The Canes are done, okay? They're just going to be a cutesy little team that I'll root for and I'll watch, but I really won't expect much year to year. And maybe once in a while they'll surprise me with a decent bowl game, and that's it. But there's no more national titles in their future. There's no more, a BCS or whatever it's called, the playoffs or whatever, the college football playoffs. There's none of that anymore. There's not going to be an ACC title. None of that is ever going to happen for the Canes. Okay, I've accepted it. They are what they are. I'm not accepting that with the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins can still be better. I believe the Dolphins can still make the playoffs. There's 15 more games to go. Let's see how they respond this week. Okay? Let's see if they come up with a win. Let's see if they come up with at least a hell of a performance. Now, if we start seeing what we saw yesterday happen over and over, then I'll be the first one to join you and tell you, hey, yeah, we got to be concerned about what's going on here. This is really bad right now. But I'm not going to panic after one terrible game. Lots of teams have terrible games. The Packers had a terrible game last week. Now they got to find a way to bounce back. That's all. Let's see. What else do we have here? Justin Herbert 1-1. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yesterday, obviously, he threw a brutal interception at the end, 20-17 loss to the Cowboys. I am still waiting for Justin Herbert's first quality win. You know that, right? So yesterday, he threw the ball 41 times, completed 31, 338 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. But he's the second coming. He has a way better offensive line. He has better wide receivers, okay? And his defense is pretty good. They're half decent. And by the way, I could also say they got better running backs. So he has better weapons, a better offense. Yeah, he puts up some stats. What's he won? Oh, they beat Washington last week. Real juggernaut. Let's go over their losses last year, Justin Herbert. Kansas City, Tampa, New Orleans, Buffalo, and New England. Oh, by the way, Miami, Tua. Tua beat Justin Herbert. Let's go over Justin Herbert's wins in his first 2 years. Washington last week, Cincinnati, Jacksonville, the Jets, Atlanta, the Raiders, Denver, Kansas City with Chad Henne at the end of last season when they benched everybody. Any quality wins there? Any playoff teams? Any real studs there? No. I mean, this year, if you want to look, they beat Washington, which was a playoff team last year. But I mean, seriously, if you're going to call beating anybody in the NFC East an accomplishment, okay. Sure. Have at it. So in their matchup, Tua, 15 of 25, 162 yards and 2 touchdowns. Herbert, 20 of 32, 187 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception, and a loss. And you know what? Tua was throwing to Gesicki, Grant, Parker, and Malcolm Perry. Meanwhile, he's throwing to Keenan Allen, a Pro Bowl receiver, Mike Williams, and Hunter Henry. this is all like Albert Wilson. I'm still not sure what the love affair is. Yes, he looks great. Well, he used to have the locks. Right now, I think he cut him now. Big, strong strapper, got a great arm. He's playing with much better offense than Miami's, yet there's not one quality win on the board. Not one quality win so far. I get it, dude. He looks great. He puts up fantasy stats. Fantastic. When he starts winning big games, then I'll say, okay, we got to really look at what's going on there. But that's fine. I mean, narratives. We get back to nobody looks at the facts. I just read you the facts. These are the facts. The guy plays with a way better offense and can't beat any quality teams. Those are the facts. But, Justin Herbert's the second coming. When he starts winning big games, when he starts coming through in the clutch, when he's a difference maker in those games, then I will start saying, oh, yeah, no, they made a huge mistake. And I'll admit it. I told you right now, they made a mistake with the offensive line. It's too many young guys. I'm going to be fair about things, and I'm going to show you why I don't like this, why I like this. Same thing with Albert Wilson. There was this love affair that some of you had out there, and then I tried to bring you back to the facts, the reality. I read you his stats. So you're in love with a guy that's had 700 yards in 2 years with the Dolphins. So you're in love with a guy that's never gotten more than 4 touchdowns in a season. So you're in love with a guy that's been often injured the last couple of years and opted out, unfortunately, because of COVID. And that's the second coming because he ran around in 10 days in shorts. I'm just giving you the facts. Those are the facts. But, Justin Herbert, he's the second coming. I'm waiting for it. He looks good. He's definitely on the all-runway team. Fantastic. You're watching it right there on the runway. It's a beautiful silver jet. It's got some killer lines. It's painted up really nice. It's a 767, brand spanking new. Looks fantastic. It's fantastic. When it takes off, check back with me. Then I'll tell you, this Justin Herbert guy, he's the shit. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, no. When I start seeing him, like with Deshaun Watson, like you saw it. Like he did it in college. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. That's what I'm talking about. Like Andrew Luck. Like you saw it in college, and then he went to the NFL, and he carried a team all the way to the AFC Championship game that was complete dog shit. Like you saw it. Then he went and did it. He was beating better teams in the playoffs. Because that's the other thing I used to laugh about people with Luck. Well, I know he's in that division. Yeah, dude, but he's going to the playoffs, and he went all the way to the AFC Championship game. You're beating really good teams there? No. Second coming. I get it. Second coming. But you guys can go ahead and use all these things when they tell you about Justin Herbert and they tell you how fantastic he is. Because he's so amazing that he carries teams to places. Preach, we can get somewhere if we max protect with Noah as the blocking back. Big O, what is the job of a quarterback? A handoff as he passes, and he tells us to the offensive line what defenses are mean throwing at them, and guess what? Our guy doesn't do that. Okay. All right, Richard. The guy doesn't do anything. He sucks, bro. Okay? He's terrible. It's done. Are we good now? You happy? I'm not going to convince you, man. You know what I mean? You and I aren't gonna see eye to eye on Tua. I only have one concern about Tua, and it happened yesterday. That's it. That's the only concern I have with Tua. I think he's more than intelligent enough to do what he has to do. But the problem is it's hard to do it when, you know, you're playing with what you're playing with on the offensive line. And those guys, by the way, on the offensive line, they should be really embarrassed on what they're doing. Charlie Pride says, I'll put it this way, Big O. Bama fans got to where we expected Tua to throw for a touchdown on every possession. He was putting up 40 points by halftime on good teams. I know, man. Kid can play. I'm not worried about Tua, the player. I'm worried about Tua, the durability issue. You know? So one guy says, at least Herbert can finish a game and not get benched. Well, that's because it's a terrible team, sir. They're not trying to win anything, sir. Narratives. Oh, let me just throw some shit. Let me pull it out of my ass. Oh, Tua got benched. Are the Chargers trying to get to the playoffs, sir? I'm sorry. I must have missed that. I must have missed all their trips to the playoffs. I must have missed the double-digit wins. I must have missed it. Damn. Come on, dude. Two different levels. There's no pressure on the Chargers. Fling it, kid. Go have fun. We suck. The other guy trying to make the playoffs. That's why they won 10 games. I must have missed it. Where did the Chargers win 10 games? What did they win, like 7? Last year, what was the Chargers' fantastic record last year? What was it? Did they win 7? Did they get to 8? Is it possible? I must have missed this. Hold on a second. Let's follow up with this man here because the agenda for the Dolphins and the Chargers were exactly the same last year. Let's see. Let me pick the Chargers here. Where are the Chargers? The Chargers. Let's go to the Chargers and their schedule. Now, let me hit the schedule for 2020. And let's see. They were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They were a whopping 7-9, sir. Damn, bro. Keeping him in the game, sir, really helped out getting the double digits. Yeah. I love that. Let's compare apples and oranges, but let's say it's the same. I'm eating an apple. No, you're eating an orange. Well, they're all the same. 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. If you want to get in on the text line and make also silly comparisons like that, you can also do it. Let's see. Herbert still hasn't beaten a good team. His Chiefs victory was their second and third string was. Yeah, I know. It's Chad Henne, dude. It's Chad Henne. Give me a break. Big O, you now jumping out on O-line wagon when until this week you were cheering for them and insisting that they'd be okay. Yeah, I'm still cheering for them, sir. I'm still hoping that they'll be okay. I still want to give them time to develop, but philosophically, too many young guys. It's not their fault. I got to blame the people above them for putting way too many young guys. It needs to be a mix. I don't have a problem with the young guys. It's just too many. That's it. So, what do you want me to tell you? You want me to stay and tell you that everything's fine on the O-line? I can't tell you that. They haven't developed enough. Big O, some people just want to blame Tua for everything. Also, I am puzzled to see why some so-called fans are going off with their players or getting off with their players getting hurt. That's embarrassing. No, but I mean, Tua wanted to get hurt. You know, he predicted that it would come from that side. So he said, I'm not going to call an extra protection over to Jesse. Why? I want to have a rib injury. I mean, rib injuries sound like a lot of fun. Yeah. So it's all on Tua. It's Tua's fault. That's all it is. There we go. Some congrats, Ohio John. I like it. I want more congrats for Ohio John. He proposed to his lovely fiancée this weekend. She said yes. They are getting married, baby. You know, they met. Great story. There's a Dolphin club there in Cleveland, and they met there at the bar because both of their families were Dolphin fans who influenced them to become Dolphin fans. So then both of them went to the Cleveland Dolphin. I don't know exactly that part. I don't know the story, but they have a bar where all the Cleveland Dolphin fans in that area meet and watch the Miami Dolphin games. So those two met there and fell in love there. How effing cool is that? About that. And Ohio John has got a lady that loves football. That's pretty awesome. That's very cool. So big congratulations to Ohio John. I want to see a lot of them on the text line, okay? I want to see a lot of congratulations to Ohio John. He deserves it. That's a good one. Let's wish them well. Excellent, O. With 3 picks last year, we should come away with a Waddle and Rashawn Slater. They are studs. Yeah, there's a lot of things we can second guess right now. You know what I mean? But I got to, again, I'm not going to give up on all these linemen because it's just too early to give up on linemen. They sometimes take, and again, none of these guys are top 5, top 7. They're not Penei Sewells. They're not the kind of linemen that you take at the beginning of the draft or you're like, they're supposed to be practically can't miss guys. These are later picks. And I've already told you, they're not going to hit on all 5 of them. Over and over, I've mentioned this. There we go. I love seeing the congratulations to Ohio John. Very classy of you all. While we got some shitty stuff going on this weekend with our Dolphins and our Canes, you know, that's a good thing right there, that we got Ohio John getting married. So, well, congrats to one of our family members here on the show. So we know our O-line is bad right now. Putting split backs, at least chipping rushers and rushing quick outs for Tua to have checkdowns. EGA, I'm with you, my brother. They're going to have to come up with ways, an extra tight end. They're going to have to maybe play a fullback more often. Switch things up, man. Switch things up. Get a couple of people extra to help out. Tua's a smart kid, and he's an accurate thrower. So, okay, you got to pull off an extra receiver off the field. It is what it is. He'll figure it out. But you cannot allow the young man to get killed over and over again because he just does not have the body. The Tuttle Army with the congratulations for Ohio John. I like it. Brady played with a torn MCL, and this kid Tua gets on a cart for a bruised rib. I love that. You realize that the ribs are probably harder to play with than the leg injury, right? I'm not sure if you know that, because an immobile quarterback doesn't really need, Marino played without an Achilles tendon. After I remember when some of you may not remember because you're not old enough, but Marino tore his Achilles tendon in Cleveland. Okay, like I think it was, I want to say very early 90s, maybe 90, 91 or something. Somebody look it up for me. Tell me when Marino tore his Achilles. But he tore his Achilles and he never repaired it. Now, Marino is not Lamar Jackson, not Russell Wilson, not Kyler Murray, not John Elway. He doesn't run around. So he felt like, screw it. I just stand there. That's what Tom Brady does. What you don't understand, sir, if you have a rib contusion or bruises, or if there's any damage to your cartilage, I want you to know this. You can't breathe. When you sit down just to take a dump, it is so painful. And I know that's a lot of information, but I'm just telling you what players have told me in the past with those injuries. Sitting, breathing, moving around, doing this, it affects the core like crazy. So before you say something really ignorant that you have no idea what the F you're talking about, it's actually worse and much harder to play with any kind of rib cage injury than an ACL that's partially torn, stretched, whatever it is, or even an Achilles tendon, especially for Tom Brady and Dan Marino, who don't move around. They just need to snap the ball and drop back 3-5 steps and throw. That's who they are. You know, some of you just say stuff and you don't think about it. You don't know anything about it. And you think it's, and then you got 18 other idiots who then retweet it. This happens on Twitter all the time. Somebody will say something stupid. It lacks any kind of intelligence. Clearly you have no knowledge of what's going on. And so you tweet it out there. It's like the Deshaun Watson thing. All of you out there, well, now you got to go for Deshaun Watson. And then there's one idiot, another moron retweeting. Forget the fact that the legal issues won't be done way after the deadline. Forget it that you can't trade for him. Forget it that the league is not going to allow for that move. But no, let's just go get Deshaun Watson. Some of you have to think. Before you actually put something out there, think. And if you don't know, then don't say anything. That's all. Just stay away from it. Because you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Especially that injury on his throwing side going to greatly affect any of his thoracic spine movement. Well, I am not a doctor, sir, but I can tell you what players have told me about those injuries, and especially the ones around the rib. And we still don't know if he has any kind of cartilage damage, because if there's any separation in that oh, dude, that kid's going to be writhing in pain for a while, and it's going to be a pain. He will have to shoot it up. There's no doubt. That was gut-wrenching, Big O. I think that was 93, the year Scott Mitchell took over. Was 93? Okay. Oh, you think? I don't know. Did anybody look it up finally for me? Let Me Live in Peace says 93. So there you go. You were right, sir. That was a gut-wrenching. That was 93, the year Scott Mitchell took over, the year we won the snow game in Dallas during Thanksgiving. Yes, sir. Laughing and coughing hurts the ribs. Oh, yeah. Oh, you don't want to cough. You don't want to sneeze with those ribs. Oh, my Lord. You are so right, Captain Swole. You are on target. Somebody tell that man that thinks that, the torn ligament is, oh, no, yeah, it's so much harder to play with. You really don't know what you're talking about. Let's see. That was the old Cleveland Municipal Stadium, original dog pound. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Troy Francis, stud. Ohio John, congratulations. With a football wife, you are max protected. I like that. I like that, Troy. That's a solid congratulations with a football punt in it. I love it. I love it. Pat in Asheville says Dr. Joseph Rosaval, 2021, Sally Struthers correspondent course medical school graduate. Let's see. Raiders should stomp us out too. Payback for the Fitz game. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I think the Dolphins will have a chance against the Raiders, man. It's John Gruden. So I know they've started off really well, which I'm shocked, by the way. Charlie Pride says exactly. Oh, and Tua is a very good guy. He plays for the team, not with them. If anyone deserves respect, is him, regardless. Not to gush, but that's for real. I agree. He's a good kid, man. He wants to be great. He wants to work hard. He means well. And I think he has the talent to be successful, but he will not be durable. That's the one thing that you have to take care of this kid. You have to. Rich V says, hey, Raphael, yeah, he didn't get benched, but he took a nice clean hit. But you call that man Verset got some playing time Sunday, LOL. Oh, Brissett, you mean. Big O, so they want to get Deshaun Watson killed. Dolphin fans, the offensive line needs fixing. Emphasis on offensive. You are right. I saw yesterday some fans saying they should tank for the high pick when they won't tank, and B, our pick belongs to the Eagles. Yeah, fans are, I mean, you know what it is to lose that game and then say you might as well tank for the season with 15 games left? What? And as that gentleman pointed out, they weren't even tanking 2 years ago. What can I tell you? Hey, good news is the Canes just might be able to beat Central Connecticut State. So, it's pretty good. I got to say, you'll have two impressive wins on the roster. That's all I can tell you. Bunch of injuries too, huh? Carson Wentz speaking of often injured quarterbacks, ankle injury. Jarvis Landry had an MCL sprain. Tyrod Taylor with the hamstring injury. TJ Watt with the groin injury. Andy Dalton, the ACL. They don't know how serious it is. I haven't looked it up and see if there's anything new on it. That was the Andy Dalton revenge game too for him. Raiders are going to send the house on our offense. Tony, they may not need to. Just with those two pass rushers, they may be able to do it with their base, which is scary. But if they send the house, that's terrifying. Let's see what they do. Hey, listen, Flo has been tested often already in the first couple of years. So this is part of another test for him. And if he wins, it starts. Wow, I'm going to tread some really, 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 really dangerous ground here right now when I'm about to say. But I watched him in his first year with absolutely nothing, show that team how to win, and then they went 5-4 to end the season. And it was a terrible team that had no business going 5-4. And it had even less winning in New England, okay? Even less. And somehow or another, they got it done. Last year, they lost their first two games, and then they had to obviously overcome. And they had quarterback issues where Fitz didn't start off right, and then they went to Tua, and then Tua wasn't ready, and they went back to Fitz because they're trying to win. And then they figured out a way to get to 10 wins. So this is a man that has been able to fight adversity and overcome with less. So this is another opportunity, whether he has Tua or he's going to have to be forced to play Brissett, he's got to find a way to overcome. And he's done it already in the first 2 years. This is why I've seen excellent coaching from this man over and over again. Yesterday, it wasn't his best day, and he made no excuses about it. About his coaching staff, about his players. There were no excuses. It's not like Manny Diaz, who comes up with some lame-ass explanation every week that just makes me roll my eyes. And it's like, dude, I don't want to. Today, I actually listened to the interview at the end of Joe's show, because I always know that they always repeat everything in the back end of their show. And so I listened to that interview, and it's a joke. It's just a joke to hear that guy, come up with excuses after excuses. But I've watched this man, and I'm talking about Flo, overcome more with less in 2 years. So is this challenge going to be tough to beat the Raiders? Hell yeah, it's going to be tough. Is it impossible? Hell no, it's not. Hour number 3, ladies and gentlemen, it is next here on the Big O Radio Show.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
It's the Big O Show. You're tuned in to the hottest sports radio.
When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
Orlando, a.k.a. the Big O. He covers all the South Florida teams.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Dolphins to the Heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, Spotty Pablo in the...
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Show O's on the radio, the top's where we gonna go, Miami, that's the way we roll.
Folks, you can support the hardest working sports talk show in South Florida through Cash App or Venmo. Just search Cash Big O Show. Support us through Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. We thank you for your incredible support.
On the morning show, Big O, no one has a similar show. Talk sports, talk plays, talk...
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Live and direct, because nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise, listen live.
When you're ready to purchase a new home or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. With many loan programs and competitive rates, now is the time to turn your dreams into reality. Ask about special financing for veterans. They never charge an application fee, and you will work directly with one of their experienced loan professionals. Stop dreaming and contact American Dream Lending today, 786-802-1727, or online at adreamlending.com.
We are back. And hey, don't forget also, if you call Eves, they are going to give you $1,000 off your closing costs. All right. $1,000 off your closing costs. So call them, and I can give you the owner's cell number, 305-992-5218. So if you're looking for a home or condo or whatever, or you want to redo your current mortgage and take advantage of the rates, please call Eves. He does great work, man. Great people over there at American Dream Lending, 305-992-5218. Folks, don't forget to smash the like button. Hit that like button. It is incredibly important that you smash it, and the like button too. Tomorrow, Keith Sims will be rocking and rolling with us at 11:30. So tomorrow we will have Ira Winderman at 10:30, Keith Sims will be with us at 10:30. At 11:30, Keith Sims. And then at 12:30, we will talk to Manny Navarro from The Athletic, and we will cover all things Miami Hurricanes, which has been absolutely depressing to see what's gone on with the Canes, man. It is it's sad, but it's the state that we're in, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. What else do we have here? We had Marino without a running game and a suspect defense, then Jason Taylor, Zach Thomas with an average offense, and now this defense with an offense to be determined. Very frustrating as a Dolphins fan. It is, Thomas. It is. I get you. But where we have to kind of, I know this is like really difficult for all of you out there, because asking a Dolphins fan to have patience is it's almost impossible. It really is, because it's been going on for decades now. And the back end of Marino's run was unsatisfying for a lot of us. And then watching him retire in the conditions that he had to retire was so, frustrating and pisses us off. And then all the coaches that followed after that were just utter failures. So it's not a rebuild of just 2 years and 2 games. I get it, ladies and gentlemen. I get it. But unfortunately, we have to compartmentalize. We cannot blame them for everything that happened in the past, because it's not their fault. None of these guys were in charge. Other people were making decisions. And in 2 years and 2 games, they've done an exceptional job of rebuilding this thing. But they are far from complete. Now, you know what? Sometimes we also have to check ourselves, because we end up wrecking ourselves. And I am one of them. I made the mistake. I got a little jacked up about the team and was thinking that, they were ready on the cusp of surprising. Not that they would be better than the Bills. I've never said that. As you all know, I've picked the Bills to win the division. I've picked the Bills to be the team to challenge Kansas City for, AFC and the right to go to the playoffs. I've never put the Dolphins in that spot, but they were home. I figured, you know what? They haven't had a lot of luck against them. Things haven't gone well. Well, maybe now they got enough to surprise them. Eke it out. 24-20 is what I picked, right? I was wrong. I was dead wrong. I was dead wrong for being that positive and having that outlook on them that they could actually challenge. I deserve it.
Blind ass fan alert. Look out, everyone. We've got a blind ass fan coming through.
So a lot of us have done this, and we kind of thought too, a lot of you thought the same thing I did. It's really our fault. We probably raised the level of expectations. No, not probably. We raised the level of expectations to a point that was unrealistic. So we have to blame ourselves for that. And I tell people a lot of times that some of you out there, you blame the team for your, bloated expectations that weren't realistic. I'm guilty of it today. I'm guilty of it this week. But I am not going to sit here and tell you, oh, no, Flo sucks. He can't coach, because I've watched him. I've seen already what Greer has done. I think he's done an excellent job overall, but it's unfinished. So I have to wait. I have to give the man time. Everybody else has been given years and years and years to do it, right? And they failed. So I'm not going to just discard these gentlemen because it was a terrible outing, because I disagree maybe philosophically on what's going on the offensive line. Maybe it's too many young guys. Okay. We can have some differences, but it's not enough to say, oh, no, everybody's got to go. That's ridiculous. Because where they're at, they're still a lot closer to becoming a decent team than they have been in a long time. I know it's hard to look at it after a 35-0 loss and you had a terrible outing, But this happens to a lot of teams, man, where even teams that are established have terrible weeks. Look at the Saints. Saints dismantled Green Bay, and they're a pretty damn good team with a Hall of Fame quarterback. And now the Saints came back to reality this week, and Jameis Winston threw no touchdowns and 2 interceptions. And we'll see if Green Bay bounces back tonight. I'm sure they're going to be hungry to get that win because they looked like shit last week at 38-3. And that's with Aaron Rodgers that they put up 3 points. I get it. It's hard to compartmentalize. It's hard to be patient because you've run out of patience after every failed regime after another. I totally understand that. But we cannot blame these guys, and you cannot carry your frustration over from the last 20 years on these gentlemen. That's not fair to them. And that's not fair in the decision when you're trying to understand what is going on with this team. I'm still firmly behind Flo, firmly behind Chris Grier. Would I tell them, hey, enough with Albert Wilson, Jakeem Grant as wide receivers? Yeah, I would tell them that. I would tell them that Matt Collins, in my eyes, is a better football player. What the hell are you doing? And this whole thing, it was aggressive. It was maybe to a certain extent in their eyes forward thinking. Plus they wanted to kind of speed up this whole process. But in the end, it was a bad plan. It's not speeding up the process. It's actually delaying your development. And they thought maybe, hey, we'll get a bunch of young draft picks and we'll develop them. But they didn't really anticipate all the problems of having all that youth on that line. So, yeah, they're not going to be perfect. This is the first time that Chris Grier runs a football team. This is the first time that Coach Flo runs and coaches a football team. So nothing is going to be perfect. You're going to make mistakes. But because you make a couple mistakes, I'm supposed to give up on you after a 10-win season? After you tore it all down 2 years ago to then rebuild it? That doesn't make any sense. That's not giving someone an opportunity to prove themselves, no matter how frustrated you and I are. It's not fair to them. And it's not fair to us because look what Rick Spielman has done. He made his mistakes here, and then he went to Minnesota and has done a really good job. He hasn't found a quarterback. That's a problem around this league. A lot of people have trouble finding a quarterback, but he's built an offense and he's built a defense. He's done a pretty damn good job overall, dude. Can you argue with me here? He's been 100 times better a GM than he was with Wanstead here. Correct? Am I lying? Jeff Ireland was terrible here at times. He did some embarrassing things, like with the whole Des Bryant thing, asking if his mom's a prostitute and all that stuff. And yeah, we have 4 5s and 6s. He's telling Peter King on Hard Knocks, and we need 1 2s 3s. But that's you. I get it. Now he goes to New Orleans, and he's done a much better job helping their personnel department. I've had people on my show that cover the Saints and will swear by Jeff Ireland that he's the difference in their organization in finding a lot of their talent over the last couple of years. Ladies and gentlemen, they made their mistakes here, and we did not wait till they actually matured. Are we going to do the same with Flo? Are we going to do the same with Chris Grier? Or are we going to allow these gentlemen to finally get through this and figure everything out? It's not like there's dysfunction here. It's not like there's a Bullygate thing going on. It's not like players are revolting. It's not like they hate the coach. None of that is going on. You have a lot of synergy. The front office and the coaching staff work together. The owner has been incredibly supportive and does everything that they need. Tom Garfinkel has created a great atmosphere overall for you to work in. But 2 years and 2 games, and especially the first year's kind of out the window because that was the year where you just cleaned house and whatever. We're gonna stop it now? We're gonna say, oh, it's over? Because that's what we did with Spielman. And in hindsight, you know what you had to do? Fire everybody, all the coaches, everybody. Turn to Rick Spielman and say, hire your own coach, dude. Have at it. And he would have hired his coach that has his vision, and his coach would have hired his assistants that have his vision, and everybody's on the same page. But we didn't. We had human Jenga. We had people fighting over each other, and Rick Spielman was gone. And the same thing with Jeff Ireland. We had human Jenga. And eventually this guy was gone, Jeff Ireland. And they both have done a much better job in their next spot. So insanity is doing the same things over and over and over again. And take it from somebody that at least has been around enough and talked to personnel people. Chris Grier has a lot of respect around the league. A lot of people like Chris Grier. A lot of people like Reggie McKenzie. A lot of people like Marvin Allen. So you're going to allow one game to cloud your judgment and make you think that everything is done and it's over. And that just doesn't make sense when there's been a lot of good so far. But nothing is perfect, and there's no way we were going to think that season 3 was going to be perfect. Some of us were just idiots thinking that maybe they were ready to compete with the Bills, and they weren't. I was a dumbass. I made the mistake. But I'm not making the mistake again of wanting everybody fired when we haven't given them the opportunity to completely develop and grow and figure everything out. And we've already paid the price. Believe it or not, we had 2 decent personnel guys come through here and leave. Not named Parcells, not named Saban, not named Jimmy Johnson. Those are the facts. Oh, or not named Tannenbaum too. So let's not screw it up here. I think this time around, just got to show we got to be as tough as Flo is. Because you got to be one tough sumbitch to survive 0-7. That's when it was bad. 0-7, which was, where are we at here? Where are we at? 0-7, where you're outscored 238-77. They were outscored in the first 4 games 163-26. The next 3 games 75-51, so there was an improvement. And then after that, you went 5-4. So you were outscored by 137 points in the first 4 games. In the next 3, you were outscored by 24. In the next 9, you won 5. I'm not ready to give up on people that are that resilient. What we need to be as a fan base is just as resilient. And we have to show the kind of patience that isn't easy. Anybody been a parent? Sometimes you got to show patience and fight through it, right? We've all been kids. There have been a lot of times parents showed patience with us when we kept screwing up, right? Sometimes teachers and administrators will also show some patience with certain kids. You know what I'm saying? And it's tough. It's tough on them because they got to swallow their pride. They got to swallow their desire. They got to swallow everything that they believe in at times because somebody, fractured a rule or two. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's kind of the way I look at it right now. I perspective is something that I think I bring a lot to the table when I do this job because I've been at it for a long time, because I've seen pretty much every scenario that's happened here locally in sports. And I've watched what's developed with the Dolphins, with the Dolphin Nation, with the fan base, with the team. And I just don't want things to get repeated again. And I don't think overreacting on one terrible game and using that as the end all be all makes any sense at all. When we have people that are willing to fight through all of this and figure out their mistakes, and they address their mistakes. That's what I like about these guys. They don't continue to play Jamar Fletcher when he can't play. They don't continue to play Eddie Moore when he can't play. They don't keep putting Ryan Tannehill out there thinking he's going to develop into the guy that's a difference maker when he's not. They make changes. So they've got to be sitting in that building today going, yeah, we got to do something about the O-line because there's no way our offense can grow with 5 young guys that don't know what the hell they're doing. So I would not be surprised if there's some adjustments to all of this. Go ahead, rip me, call me an idiot, all that stuff. I appreciate it. I love you all anyway. John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. Holy shit. Wow. Okay, first of all, is that really your name? And thank you for the super chat, sir. That is very nice of you. Feel bad for you Finns fans. The blueprint is out to beat you guys. The division plays a lot of good defenses this year, this season. Maybe a bad year if your O-line doesn't play better. There we go. Sympathy. Radically says Flo needs to stop firing or making his offensive coaches want to leave. Maybe Greer or Marino could help as arbiters when it comes to offensive coaches. I don't think that's the problem at all, my man. Let's see. David Woodley was way better than Tua. There you go. There you go. There you go. Keep doing drugs, sir. It's helping you. Billy Batson says, I'm resetting my clock back to another 2 years because I'm patient like that. That's awesome, Billy. That's awesome, bro. We gotta have a sense of humor, man. Okay, we're going through some tough stuff. Big O, I agree with you. It's only one game. It's just demoralizing to get shut out at home, especially when you thought this team was turning the corner by starting 1-0. I feel your pain, my brother. I really feel your pain. Just saw the report where there is no major damage to Tua's ribs. I'm sorry. Frank C. says, that's the best news. We now move on and keep grinding. It's one loss, no time to panic. Tony Zagala says, Josh Rosen said that Flo is the best coach he's ever had. What happened to that kid, right? There must be something wired there because the kid can play. He's got the ability to play at this level, but he just could not put it together. And there's got to be some kind of quirk also in his personality. Something, man. There's something there and he got plenty of chances because he's got talent. That's why he's gotten so many chances. Because he has talent. The Lord blessed him with the ability to play at this level, but nobody can kind of figure out how to put it all in place so he can have success. It's a shame. It's a shame because when you have the talent, it's a shame. Preach, all great organizations have a strategic plan and mindset. That's what's needed here. We won 10 games last year. No dysfunction in the front office. We fans have to grow up. And that's and Troy, the dysfunction is in the fan base, not in the front office, not with the team. That's the funny part. Isn't it funny how the Dolphins win 70% of the time when Tua starts, but we want to claim him as the issue? Well, I'm not blaming Tua yesterday at all. I'm blaming the offensive line. So George Gonzalez is rolling his eyes. So he is not happy with anything I said. Nelson Gar says, Big O, I like aggressive going for the fourth down. Didn't work out, but shows Flo is not scared. Well, he's done that from day one. It will get better. Long season, good teams bounce back. Let's hope so. Richard Jacobs says, when you look at our own offensive line, don't blame them when you draft a quarterback in the first round as your topic, and he's a midget. What do you expect? George Gonzalez says, just throw away yesterday's game. That was not our team. It was the perfect storm. Everything went wrong. That did. Eric EJD says, scheme and coaching is the issue. Do you think the O-line coach would make a difference? How could we have made so many mistakes? Too many young guys, Eric. I talked about this already. Nobody does this. No one in the NFL has 4 to 5 young offensive linemen together trying to develop. That's where it's not the coaching, because I can't expect an offensive line coach to make a difference with all these young guys. It's more the plan. The plan was wrong by Greer and Flo on this one. They had to sprinkle in more veterans on that line. And I think that was the plan with Fluker and Skura, but they weren't even good enough to beat those young guys. Well, one of them was, and Fluker got injured. So I think they wanted to do some of that, but they kind of went the cheap route, and they probably should have spent a little money and gone a little more expensive. And they should have maybe overpaid in free agency for a couple of veterans. That's what they need. They need experience on this damn line. Let's see. What else do we have here? One good thing that happened yesterday, Tannehill beat the Seahawks and kept the Dolphins' record of consecutive home opening wins safe. Okay. And by the way, Tannehill did not beat the Seahawks. All right. Let's get that straight. Derrick Henry beat the Seahawks. Tannehill was along for the ride, like he normally is with Derrick Henry. What a ride it's been for him. I asked Siri what was the Dolphins' schedule, and she said Dolphins were suffocated by the Bills. Yeah, pretty much. The way the Razors have looked, I think you mean Raiders, they are going to roll over the Fins. Yeah, but they're the Raiders. They are the Raiders, sir. You forgot that one component of your statement. They are the Raiders. Rich V says, if I am Chris Greer today, I am scouring the waiver wire and scouring the 31 other practice squads to see if there's an offensive lineman waiting in the wings that just can get on the field. I think they're doing that, Rich V. I would hope so. I would really hope so. And you've got spots, dude. Albert Wilson is wasting a spot on this team. He has no business being on the active roster. Let's see. Putting Waddle at punt returner was idiotic. To Waddle, we need yeah, but dude, the other kid got injured. I don't know if you know that. Did you know that Jakeem got injured? That's why he was in there. Jakeem injured his ankle, sir. They had no choice. That's their next punt returner. You know, it's not. Okay, so then Jimmy Johnson was an idiot for using Zach Thomas and Jason Taylor on special teams the first 2 to 3 years, I think, of their career. I think they might have made it to the third year. I got to ask JT if he made it to the third year on special teams. And Zach. All the time. And then you would ask Jimmy, and he goes, I play my best players on all phases of the game. End of story. How do you argue with that when he says that? Okay? So let's not make it sound like good players never play on special teams early in their careers. As they develop and then they become so much more valuable, you're kind of like, yeah, you know what? We can't use them that much anymore. Tim Brown. Tim Brown was a number 1 wide receiver and a full-time returner, my friends. I think some of you out there, I think some of you really don't know the history of football. I think really some of you don't really follow the game itself and what actually really is done out there. You make it sound like, it never happens. We're the only idiots that play top line players on special teams when that's notorious everywhere, man. For years, for decades, my friend. Decades. Great players that played on special teams. They still use Tyreek Hill on special teams. And I don't think there's a receiver that's more valuable in the NFL than Tyreek Hill. Yet, when they want a boost in their return game, they use Tyreek Hill. And he could easily get injured. You got to follow the league. Study what you're talking about. Again, and I tell you guys this, while I love all of you out there, and thank you for watching and all of that, if you put stuff out there on the chat board, it's not like I'm just going to gloss over it. I'm going to challenge you a little bit, and I hope I educate you in the process. So that way you're not saying the same thing out in public to somebody else, and then they could call you out for it. That's kind of the idea. I'm going to learn from you guys. You're going to learn from me. That's kind of the idea of this. That's why there's interaction on this show. I like Tannehill. He is a team guy and a class act. You named? Yeah. Great kid. Phenomenal young man. Very hard to find better people than Ryan. Now, not very smart when it comes to operations, Tuttle. He's one of those guys that thinks, ligaments magically reattach themselves. That part he leaves to be desired. And plus, he'll never win you a game with his arm because that's not what he does. But outside of that, you are correct. Phenomenal young man. Great family kid. You can count on him. He is an anti-vaxxer, by the way. And everybody's perfect. I thought the Dolphins and Raiders would be the future of the AFC. The road to the Super Bowl would go through us in another 3 to 5 years. Let's hope so. Tannehill's tough as hell, who is pretty accurate and a strong arm, has the pocket awareness of a possum in traffic, but the decent team around him, he can be good. No, when you give him that running game, he's very good as a game manager. He'll get the ball to the playmakers and all of that. But if the running game fails, it's the same thing as Lamar Jackson. It's just two different running games, right? Because Lamar's part of the running game. But if you take the running game away from Lamar Jackson, you easily beat the Ravens because he can't beat you with his arm. If you take the running game away from Ryan Tannehill, he'll never beat you because he needs the horse in order to beat you because he's not going to bail you out with this. That's not who he is. That's all. But as a game manager, he's developed into a really solid game manager as long as everybody's doing their job. If there's any chaos, it's over for him. That's all. Same thing. No big deal. But he is a phenomenal young man, Tuttle. That I won't ever say a bad thing about Ryan Tannehill, the human being. I'll never be convinced that he's a real legit franchise guy. He's a middle of the road quarterback is what he is in this league. You got to have a great team around him. Oh, can you explain why Mariota has had no success with Tannehill? I don't. Oh, he's inaccurate as hell and injury prone. Mariota, he just got injured again, dude, and he barely plays. Mariota is a sack of injuries, dude. He's fragile. He's a large version of Tua in the injury sense, nothing else. Tua's a much better passer than that guy. Tua sitting on a chair is a better passer than Mariota. Mariota's not a good passer, dude. He's never been a good passer. He's an inaccurate passer. He's worse than Tannehill. And his body is fragile as hell, dude. Oh, God. Terrible. The team is so vanilla with the O-line There are no pulls, no misdirection, no plays that would confuse the defense, no recognizing where the pressure is coming from when it comes to the QB. They can't handle basic protections. So now you want them pulling and stuff? Dude, you come on, bro. You got to take one step before you can take the next one, my brother. Okay? You want them all of a sudden doing stuff that, Pro Bowlers do, and really lines that are in complete, chemistry and all that stuff. That's not here, my man. They're not ready. They're remedial as hell. That's the problem, buddy. They've got to grow before they can get to those stages that you can start getting cute with them. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully Omar does the homework you told him to do and ask Flo, why the hell did Grant play that down? Yeah. Well, and Albert Wilson. I'm sorry. You got to justify to me what the hell is it about Albert Wilson? 10 days in shorts? Really? That's what we're talking about? 10 days in shorts. The hell out of here. It's sad how the fans have turned on Tua, but our O-line out here putting up 27.6 pass block grade. What a joke. Yeah. Jeremiah, what are you going to do, my man? Some fans can be, I'm going to say some fans can be brutal, and insensitive and maybe not realistic and things like that. By the way, last week we went 4-4 against the spread. This week we tore it up. We tore it up. Listen, after this week, you got to realize, take my crypto advice, even though I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy that loves crypto. A lot better than my gambling advice. I tore it up. Here we go. Took New Orleans minus 3.5. Well, they got routed by the Panthers 26-7. Lost that one. Arizona minus 3.5. They defeated Minnesota, but it was only 34-33. Lost that one, 0-2. Dallas and the Chargers. I went with the over 55. Well, it was a 2017 game by Dallas. I lost that one. Kansas City took them minus 3.5 against Baltimore. Well, they lost 36-35, so I lost. All right. And then I took Miami plus 3.5, and I took the money line plus 150. That is 0-6. We went with Houston, Cleveland over 48, and they scored 52. We won that one. We took the Pats minus 6 against the Jets. They easily won that one 25-6. So we ended up with a whopping 2-6 mark against the number. We are now 6-10 for the season against the number. I am going to give you the pick for tonight. Again, you are better off taking my advice of taking the dip in the morning and buying a little Cody, maybe a little BitTorrent, a little V-Chain that got into the 9-cent area. That you're better off doing that, because now you could actually sell it all now and make money. You know what I mean? Like all the crypto I've given you guys, they all went up. You could have sold it and made your money, and you're done. You don't have to hold long term. But in this case, yeah, this one, you may not want to take my advice here on this one. But the betting line for tonight, I want to get the latest betting line here. It is Green Bay minus 11.5. The over and under is 49. And Detroit is plus 445. And the Packers are minus 595. Now, I would never tell you to take minus 595 on the money line, because that's crazy. Detroit showed me some moxie last week that they were able to come back and put up some points on garbage time. So I don't look at Green Bay's defense as this juggernaut. So I'm going to go over 49 in this game. All right. I'm not going to lay the 11.5. That's a lot of points. And Detroit might even keep it close. It's a divisional game. It is in Green Bay. So being in Lambeau Field, clearly Green Bay will have the advantage. But I'm going to go over 49 in the over and under. I can pick the money line one, But that one's not fun because I find it a layup if I pick Green Bay. Maybe I lose. But the thing is, it's 595, which there's no way I would do that. Even though I feel Green Bay is going to win, but there's no way. So I'll go over 49. Let's hope we can go 3-6. Joel Sabata says Miami's O-line coach and co-offensive coordinators may not make it past week 6 if they keep this up. Nah, dude, let me ask you something. What offensive line coach is actually going to do something with 4 young linemen, maybe possibly 5 now? I've never heard of I've never heard of an NFL team doing that. Breaking in 4 to 5 linemen all at once. 1, 2, 3 might be a little crazy, and Kansas City started to do that last night because of the injury to the center. And when the young guy came in, he snapped the ball right over Humphreys. Snapped it right over Mahomes. So I can't blame an offensive line coach when they haven't really given him a ton to work with right now. So that's not his fault. And then the offensives. Let me ask you something. Did Devontae Parker not have a touchdown in his hands? Was that not a good call? I'm just wondering. Wasn't Albert Wilson open? Wasn't Jakeem Grant open? People were there to make plays. They just failed to make those plays. The defense actually shut them down after those first 14 points. And Miami, I can argue, should have gone into the halftime leading. They had 4 opportunities to score. A couple of them easy were touchdowns. So how do I blame the offensive coordinator for that? When he put you in positions to be successful, but you failed to actually capitalize on it. You see what I'm saying? So that's where you and I are going to disagree on that one. I find that to be a lazy take because you really didn't look into what's going on. So if players were in positions to make plays, then the coaches called the right plays. It's now up to the players to make those plays. And several players failed their team yesterday. Jesse Davis failed their team. Devontae Parker failed his team. Albert Wilson and Jakeem Grant failed their teams. Sometimes, man, we have to blame the people that deserve it. And I'm not going to blame an offensive line coach who doesn't. That's like me asking you, hey, so you're a general contractor? That's awesome. I've got 4 pieces of plywood. Build me a 3-story building. Huh? What? How do I do that? Figure it out, dude. But you didn't give me enough material. Well, I don't know. It's up to you. See what I'm saying? I can't do that to those guys. I think that's unfair on your part. I think it's lazy. I think you're really not looking at it. The offensive coordinators did enough to put you for a lead at halftime. And how do you reward them? By failing all over the place. And then the defense gives up the drive to start the third quarter and, all hell breaks loose, as Kiss would say. All hell breaking loose. Hey, have you heard the news? Can we move on from this game and talk about the next game? Too extreme. We got Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. I'm not talking Raiders now, my brother. I'm sorry. I'm not doing that. No. I'm going to stay with what's going on right now. That's what I'm going to stay with, my man. Let's see what else I got. I don't know what else I got right now to tell you guys besides. Let's see. That's it. I think did I get all my Dolphin points in? Let's see. Jess, I think I did, man. I think I did. Oh, please stop with Cam Newton. Stop reaching out. Stop guessing. Oh, we need a quarterback. Cam Newton's available. So now you're going to change the entire offense for one guy. Tua's going to come back. this week, next week, maybe no more than 3 weeks from now. I can't see him out much longer than that. If there was no fracture, then dude, shoot it up, put on a what's that called? The rib cage or whatever that stupid protector and get your ass out there. And that's it. Numb the hell out of that shit and go out there and hey, I feel great and all that. And then in the evening you're going to feel terrible. But, for now, you'll suck it up and get it done. But please, Cam Newton can't pass. He's as inaccurate as it gets. He's a phenomenal talent, dude. But it was one of those where his style of play was only good for a few years. Lamar Jackson's going to run into that too. Literally, he's going to run into that. Another year or 2 or 3, his career will be done if he doesn't become a better passer. If he doesn't learn how to beat people by staying in the pocket, eventually those legs will run out. That's why Baltimore has to be very careful. On their next deal is probably his last deal because you can only survive so long running the football in this league. Eventually, somebody's going to haloti nada your ass, and it's over. And they've already haloti nada'd even Cam Newton's big-ass body. But the one thing Cam Newton could never do is pass. You want to set this team back? Oh, put Cam Newton as a quarterback. Yeah, right. I love the people complaining about the team and then tell you to go get Cam Newton. They're the same people that the following week will call the team idiots for getting Cam Newton. Same people. So please, stop with the Cam Newton shit. Stop with trading for Watson. That's not going to happen till next year if it happens. His legal issues will not be done by the trading deadline. The NFL will not allow a trade. The NFL hasn't done anything to Deshaun Watson, because Houston's done it for them already by putting him on ice. The second they start trying to play him or trade him, they will then speak up and then do something about it to avoid embarrassment, like they did with Ray Rice. So no Cam Newton, no Deshaun Watson. Those are not options for the Miami Dolphins in the 2021 season. Cam Newton will never be an option, but Deshaun Watson definitely not this year at least. Okay? And Troy goes, please, no Cam Newton. Hey, Akara says, get Cam Newton for running back. That's a big running back. That actually might not be a bad idea. You want a big running back? That's a big-ass running back right there. Happy to be able to follow you again, Big O. Thoughts on pursuing Deshaun Watson? Again, there's no thoughts on it right now. I'm not wasting my time talking about something that's not going to happen right now. So, you know what I want? I want Tua to get healthy. I want him to be healthy enough, get back on the field, and I want him to grow and kick ass. That's what I want. Okay? That's my perfect world. I haven't given up on Tua Tagovailoa. I hope some of you haven't either. I hope you guys are patient enough to give all of these gentlemen enough time to develop the team, because we have not given them enough time. Trade all of the first-round picks for the next 5 years for Watson. Yeah, and then get no line, and then you get him killed, and then you'll be ripping the team for that. Wow, your guts are something else, RG3. Wow, huh? I don't know what that means. Okay. Cam beat year was under QB Ken Dorsey. You know, that does remind me of something. Silly Canes fans who think that Ken Dorsey is the answer. That's so hilarious. I mean, some of you out there, again, you don't see what's going on in front of your eyes. The administration doesn't care. Ken Dorsey can't turn this program around ever, not even close. It's not like he's some kind of monster recruiter. It's not like he is one of the best head coaches in college football. He might develop into a decent head coach, but guess what? They're not going to give him the money to get his assistants. It's like some of you Canes fans, you're drowning in the past because you're so desperate to grasp for the past that you actually think it's going to come back. And then you come up with these silly, untested names who have never built a college football program, who have no idea what it would take to build a college football program, but somehow you convince yourselves that by hiring Bernie Kosar as your head coach and that you get Ken Dorsey as your offensive coordinator, and then we'll go and get Ray Lewis as a defensive coordinator, and that's it, dude. We'll turn it around. I mean, seriously. Folks, come on. Let it go already. Let go of the past. Embrace it. Enjoy it. That's the thing that I would tell us older Canes fans. Be grateful that you experienced 83 to 2001. For you younger Canes fans, if you were able to experience 2001, be grateful. Be grateful that at least you got a taste of what it was when the program was an elite program. It'll never be that again. They will never pay for a head coach, offensive and defensive coordinators that you need in order to excel, in order to be great again. And coming up with these ridiculous, untested names is the reason why this program is where it's at. They would do something stupid like that, thinking that it's going to work. And it's not. It's like that commercial where you see Deion Sanders walk up to Saban in that Aflac commercial. Hey, coach, how do I get one of those jackets? And see those ugly jackets? You won't be wearing one because you're not Nick Saban and you never will be, Deion. And you're at a much lower level. Doesn't matter what name you are. You can come up with any BS you want. It's over. Ken Dorsey's not going to save your ass. None of these former players that have never done anything at this level of coaching will ever save you. But somehow or another, you guys convince yourselves because after one failure, after another, you start reaching for these ridiculous names. Jose Cabrera says, I told everyone this is a year, there's still rebuild year, giving young old linemen to develop. Jose told us. He was right. Me, on the other hand, Jose.
Blind ass fan alert. Look out, everyone. We've got a blind ass fan coming through.
Me, Jose, I was an idiot. I thought the boys could hang with the Bills this week at least. I should have listened to you, buddy. I suck. Damn it. It's terrible. Ken Dorsey is going to be a very good play caller and offensive coordinator in the near future. I would not doubt that. I would not doubt that whatsoever. I'm with you there, Tuttle. Now, do I think he can be a head coach and build a college program at an elite level? No. No. And yeah, here's the best part about it. I don't want Ken Dorsey to be the UM coach. Do you know why? They'll end up hating him. After he fails with an administration that doesn't support Jack, then he'll suck, he'll be mediocre, and everybody will then hate Ken Dorsey. And that's just wrong. You know, it's impossible to hate Ken Dorsey. But if he becomes a failed UM coach, oh, yeah, no, the guy was a good quarterback, but man, he sucked as a head coach. God, he was terrible. And I don't even want to see. I don't wish that on Ken Dorsey. Any of these former greats that have this, awesome image and reputation and all that stuff. I don't want them doing this stuff, man. I want them to get the hell away from the program and don't take a job that, one, they're not qualified to do. It's not realistic that they can actually get it done. And then can you imagine if Ken Dorsey takes the job? You have all these crazy, irrational Canes fans who would then say, oh, we're going to win the national championship. We've got Ken Dorsey. He knows how to get it done. No. Don't do that to yourself. Scott Covington underachieved. All right, Big Bob. Let's bring up the past now. Oh, wow. What was it? What was Scott Covington and what was the other guy? There were two guys, right? One guy was Scott Covington was and then what was the other one? Costa, right? Something like that. And one guy was Costa Verde. They like he was like the next Vinny Testaverde. And Scott Covington had another moniker that they used. Was it him that they used to like describe like Erickson or something? I forgot what it was. But I remember that the guy that was called Costa, they called him Costa Verde as a nickname, like he would be the next Vinny. I remember that. I don't know how I remember that. It was something that was in the paper or something. I forgot, but that just came into my mind how that came out. Somebody remember it. Ryan Clements. There you go. Ryan Clement. That's it. I think that's it. Guys, the U program needs at least $20 million per year to get a good head coach and good assistant coaches. And you know what they would say for that? Yeah, they would go Hall & Oates. I can't go for that. No, can do. You are correct. Now, I didn't. Wow, you put 20 million. I put like 12 to 15. You went a little higher. But you're right. Either whether it's 12, 15, or 20, my man, they're not going to spend that on their coaches. And that's what you need. And they don't care about the investment. See, the administration doesn't see it that if they invest 12, 15, 20 million in their coaches, that they'll get it back with everything that they'll do by selling merchandise and bowl games and everything else that comes with it, right? Maybe some really high profile regular season games and things like that, like a kickoff classic or something like that. They would be able to do all those kind of things, but they don't view it that way because they have no interest. It's the fanatical Canes fan that wants to win the Coastal, win the ACC, and challenge for a national title and possibly win it. The administration doesn't care about the Coastal, doesn't care about the ACC championship, and certainly doesn't strive for a national championship. That's the difference. The fanaticals have a different agenda than the administration. The administration is fine. If Manny Diaz wins 9 games, they're good with that. They're not here to fire people that don't win 9, 10 games and win in a mediocre bowl game. They're happy with that. To them, that's a really good year. That's all. They don't care about a national title. They just don't. And the faster some of you actually come to that realization, dude, just go cheer on the Canes, go root them on, have some fun, enjoy whatever they can bring to the table, enjoy your Saturdays. I'll be wearing my Canes colors all the time. I love the Canes, but I know what they are now. They're just a cutesy little program that's going to be like a mid-major, and that's what they're stuck in. That's what they've been stuck in for years. That's who they've been for a long time now. That's what people don't understand. They are exactly what the administration wants them to be. It's over. Call it a day. Sorry that it had to end this way. All right. Maybe they should play Johnny Mathis, right? Is it Denise Williams, right? Mathis and Denise Williams. They should play that song at the end of every game. Just to kind of remind Canes fans. Tua can't run a high school offense. They need to run a middle school offense. That's what Guillermo says. Guillermo Oliver knows exactly that. He can run the Alabama offense, but they must be kindergarten, right? He can come off the bench and save Alabama's ass and lead them to a national title. That's got to be what, like a kindergarten offense, Guillermo? I got you. I'm good. I got you, bro. We all good, baby. Ryan Collins, Derek Crudup. What are you guys coming up with bad quarterbacks now? It's very frustrating to lose to the Bills in the fashion again, but I believe in Flores and the coaching staff. They will be ready to play on Sunday, and all these half-ass fans will be no, they won't, Will. No, they won't, dude. Those people that you see now, they were unhappy with a win against New England. We have a group of Dolphin fans that are happy with misery. They want to live in misery. And they go out of their way to find any negativity. And I saw it last week. You win in Foxborough and you complain? Really? I just want to win, dude. You think Baltimore is complaining about winning last night? That Kansas City fumbled at the end? Who gives a shit, dude? You won. Yeah, we all know if Mahomes has the ball, he drives them down probably for a field goal and they win the game. I get all of that, but it didn't happen. Hilaire fumbled. It's over. Ravens are jumping up and down, all that. Lamar says, man, it's great to get the monkey off our backs, which is true because they were getting dogged by Kansas City. He had never beaten Kansas City. I think that's what the stat was. So there you go. Who cares how you win? And yet, people were complaining. I was like, wow. You're 1-0, you win in Foxborough, and you're complaining. I get it if you're a Chiefs fan. You know, you've developed a higher standard. But if you're a Dolphins fan, dude, a win in Foxborough is awesome. Your coach, you know, the one that a lot of you want fired, he's won twice in Foxborough in 3 years. Like, you don't have coaches that do that anymore for the Miami Dolphins. No, let's just overlook all that kind of stuff. It's crazy. 911 caller in Gabby Petito incident says fiance seen hitting, slapping her weeks before disappearance. I don't know if it's true or not. That is one wacky story, dude. Wow. And the fact that they were doing a lot of it on social media, you know, there's more to this story. I don't know if we'll ever find out. And and now there's a manhunt for that guy. And obviously, seems like you're guilty, right? If you're running away, you're guilty already when you just get in the car and come back across country without her. And you don't tell the parents or nothing. You show up to the house. Hey, where's Gabby? I don't know. She's somewhere. And you're like, don't tell anybody. And the parents find out like 10 days later. Can you imagine being those parents? I'd be losing my mind. Losing my mind. Wow. That is one crazy story. Let's see. Guillermo and Scott Jackson need to put out moms of basement and leave the maid and the Madden alone. All right. We are going to wrap it up here on the show. We want to thank all of you out there, as always, for keeping it locked here and supporting us here on the show. We will see you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. 10:30, Ira Winderman. 11:30, Keith Sims. Do not miss that interview. We're going to go heavy into the offensive line. Keith and I will talk a lot of things about the offensive line. I'm sure he's watching. I'm sure he'll have an opinion. If you don't know Keith, I've known him for When did he get drafted? Whatever. I've known him for a long time because I was a beat guy going into the locker room covering Keith Jackson, Keith Sims, and Richmond Webb. By the way, two of the best individuals you could ever cover in pro sports. Just phenomenal human beings. Not only were they damn good players for this team, but Keith Sims, and just like Richmond, I love those guys. It reminds me a lot of Zach and Jason. I could go to them and they would respectfully do their job in the worst moments, which is the hardest time to do your job as a player. And they were just pros. And obviously you could talk to every player when they win. But Keith Sims was a special, and Keith Sims is a special human being. Not just one hell of a player. He's a special human being. So look forward to having him on tomorrow at 11:30. At 12:30, Manny Navarro. And we'll talk a lot about the Canes programs and a lot of its problems. We will see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel. Have a great one out there.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends. When you